Visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors Wake Orthopedics, First Carolina Bank, and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-979-1441. That's 800-979-1441.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's a pretty day out there today. We have partly cloudy skies. It's mild and breezy at times with a high of 67. Overnight tonight, it's mostly cloudy with a low of 47 degrees, and then plenty of sunshine Tuesday with a high of 66.
Don't miss Bill Burr live on April 8th at DPAC. The early show is sold out, but a late show has been added. Get tickets for comedian Bill Burr at DPACNC.com, at DPACNC.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 117 points to 46,621. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
Finds Struce back to Larry. There it is, three-pointer. Won't go. Rebound call on Pope. They're not going to foul. The Heat will let it play out. It's over. At last, the long wait is over. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets can finally call themselves NBA champions.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. If you are unaware, you may be confused as to why we just played a highlight from the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA championship a handful of years ago. Let me end that suspense for you right now. The coach of that team, Mike Malone, is going to be the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Mike Malone, over a decade as an NBA head coach, no experience as a college head coach, is going to be the next head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels, and just a hair under the wire as the transfer portal opens up tomorrow. A very high-profile search. Some very high-profile coaches took their names out of the running. Some very high-profile coaches got paid by their current employers to not entertain the Carolina job. And after all of that posturing, after all of that up and downs and ins and outs and who said what and who said this and is it a lie, is it a leverage, it ends up being Mike Malone. Do you like it? Do you? We want to hear from you at about 4:15. We'll open up the phone lines, and you can tell us whether you like Mike Malone as the head coach of Carolina. Our first responsibility, though, is to look at it from every angle, thus the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Few things here. By the way, the Big 3 at 3 is presented by Maynard Service Company. They do it all, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Check them out online, MaynorServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. Now, Dennis, I've shaken these up a little bit because I wanted to combine two. Number 1 is the facts of it, right? No buyout because he is a not employed coach right now. right? He's in the media doing the ESPN thing. I assume that does not come with a buyout if he wants to get back into coaching. So no buyout, and he's 54 years old. Darn near every other candidate that we talked about when it came to the Carolina job had either a buyout or an age that made antennas go up and say, I don't know if that's the right guy. Right? When you were talking Tommy Lloyd, when you were so excited about some of these college guys, a lot of them came with $9, $10 million buyouts, which is a lot of money when you also need to turn around and then pay the coach, usually a top-of-market deal, and pay your roster and put together a front office and do everything else you need. And then somebody like Billy Donovan, who you're going like, there's no buyout there. He was in his 60s. How long would he stick around, right? If it took him 2 years to figure it out, would you get anything out of him? Now, I'm not acting like 54 years old is the youngest coach that they were possibly going to hire, but there's enough that if it works, he'll be around for a decade. And no buyout, I want to see that money on the floor. I want to see that money in the backcourt. I want to see that money taking players from Europe that are playing in the EuroLeague and somehow still have eligibility. I want to see that money shopping in the Final Four for players that are going to hit the transfer portal, rather than going to Arizona or Michigan or whoever and putting it in their pockets so they can spend it on their rosters because you bought their coach out with the buyout. All about the Mike Malone hire for the Carolina Tar Heels on the Big 3 at 3. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
Let's get to the bugaboo. The elephant in the room, if you will, when it comes to hiring Mike Malone. The concerns that fans have, if they have them, I have to imagine, start here. He has no college head coaching experience. And his college coaching experience of any kind comes from decades and decades ago as an assistant and not at programs like Carolina, right? He was an assistant at Providence, Manhattan, Oakland. He was in the support staff at Virginia for a small period of time. That's not apples to apples here. And then you add on to the fact that the experience that he had was well before transfer portal, like decades before NIL. That is what so much of college coaching is about, is navigating those particular avenues, not just well, but exceptionally well. So he doesn't have that experience. Right? And we do know, based on looking at their football team, that showing up with a really, really impressive professional coaching resume doesn't necessarily just mean everybody's going to bow down to you and go, oh, you coached people that were a little older than us for years? That's incredible. We'll do whatever you say. Right? That's not exactly how it went in football. I do think basketball is a bit different. I do think basketball is a smaller world, and more players will respect an NBA resume, an NBA background, more so than what the NFL background brought your football team, but only if you know how to use it. Only if you know how to sell it. Only if you're Mike Malone and you can go into a living room or you can go into a athletic director's office at a high school and paint your vision in a way that young people enjoy it and agree with it and want to be a part of it. He does, by the way, have the option, and I'm sure he will do as good as he can. But you do want to hire your staff with the emphasis on bringing in a bunch of college basketball experience. Right, that's the thing. If you're looking at Bill Belichick, that I think the football program did not do well enough. You have all of the UNC football program went with everybody's got NFL experience, and I think what they probably missed is that Bill Belichick brought all of the NFL experience that you need. right? Mike Malone brings all of the NBA cachet that you need. He has a ring on his finger that says everything you need to know about NBA connections. You don't need to go get assistant coaches and GMs that just have more NBA experience because you have enough. You're overflowing. Go get assistant coaches and GMs that have a ton of college experience so they can help Mike Malone navigate. Which is tough because, every coach that I've ever seen likes to hire people they know and people they've worked with, and Malone hasn't been around or hasn't been working in college. So he might have to hire some people that he's not best friends with. But it's more important to get the right friends than the best friends when you're hiring your staff. That is number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 is he's a true outsider.
I guess, yeah.
His daughter does play volleyball at Carolina. Mm-hmm. So, you would assume that he's at least been around and he knows the area and he's not going to show up and not like the weather or something. Like he knows enough about Chapel Hill that he shouldn't be surprised by that. But when you're talking like coaching trees, it was different. We were talking with, I think it was Fran Fraschiller, maybe PJ Carlissimo last week at the Final Four on Radio Row. And it kind of came up like, is anybody really outside of the Carolina family entirely? Because, Dean Smith and Roy Williams are so affable and they're so connected throughout all of college basketball that like everybody kind of had a connection, right? Tommy Lloyd was a Mark Few protege, and Mark Few and Roy Williams were good friends. So like it's kind of in there a little bit. There's really not many connections, if any, that I could find in the half hour I was just searching for Mike Malone's connections to UNC. He's a Pete Gillen guy who is from the Digger Phelps tree.
Coached at Virginia for a long time.
Coached at Virginia. Also at Providence, which is where they coach with each other. And then he did make the move with them to Virginia for a small period of time before jumping to the NBA. Digger Phelps was at Notre Dame forever and ever. So there's kind of just this, kind of a tall, skinny coaching tree that he is a part of, rather than the super wide like oak tree that Carolina has had. So, he's not even like a family friend of the family. He's an acquaintance at best. So Carolina is very much rocking the boat or being willing to rock the boat to go get a coach that brings the things that they're looking to bring. He is a no-nonsense, right? I believe he's born in Queens. Like he is a that vibe of person when you see him, when you talk to him, when you watch his interviews. Well, it's not the Southern charm of Roy Williams. I don't think their practices are going to be full of dadgummits and golly darns. It's going to be filled with the stuff that most people use those words to replace.
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah. We'll see what Mike Malone can build as a roster. As good of a coach he is, it comes down to Jimmys and Joes a lot of time in college sports, and we'll see if he can put together the roster on short order. That transfer portal better be evaluated very, very quickly, and they better use some of the money they saved up for a buyout to go get their top options. Because I don't think they're going to have time to evaluate, 50 people deep, right? They're going to have to find the ones they love and then go get them so they don't have to go to the next option because they won't be able to vet the next option nearly as well. Godfather offers across the portal from Carolina. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're just getting started, everybody. The Carolina Tar Heels have their next men's basketball coach, Mike Malone. How does he live in that pressure? Stick around.
It's back. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards April 10th through the 12th. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and priced to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, April 10th through the 12th at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen. Like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Inc. Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
My buddy dies. I show up to the funeral. Open casket. We're still doing that? I've never understood open casket. I don't get it. It's like, you told me he was dead. I believed you.
From the Monday Morning Podcast, his hit film Old Dads, and his latest Grammy-nominated special on Hulu, comedian Bill Burr. Early show sold out. Late show added. April 8th at DPAC. Get tickets now at dpacnc.com. Don't miss Bill Burr.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So here's the next coach of the Carolina Tar Heels. His name is Mike Malone. He has spent the last 10 years of his life, minus the last one, being the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. He won an NBA championship, and he is bringing that level, right? He is bringing that much experience at the NBA level, that much cachet is the word I'm looking for, cachet at the NBA level to Carolina. And he is bringing equally and opposite amount of college basketball experience to Carolina. And I think that's what scares people the most. That's what scares people the most. I'll also put this out there because I'm seeing a mixed reaction from fans on social media. Some are very, very concerned. I don't know if it would feel as rough for some of you if Carolina wasn't the type of program where every step of a search is dissected. If we just knew that Hubert Davis was fired and then absolutely no information came out until today, I think this would feel much better to some of you. But it seems like you struck out on Tommy Lloyd. You struck out on even like Brad Stevens and Jay Wright feel like they were misses where I don't think any job would have gotten them to coach in college. And it feels like you struck out on Dusty May, even though, you know, there's so many things that had to go into those guys saying no, like their teams had to make the Final Four and for Dusty May make the championship, right? I'm not sure how the things change if they go just a hair differently. This is not a hire that should make you cringe. It's a bit risky.
Major.
It's a bit risky, but like high risk, high reward might be how I would describe it. If it works, you have a really good basketball mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to recruiting, there's a bunch of different ways to look at this for recruiting. One is he hasn't done it. Right, he hasn't been the guy who's out there as the head coach at the Peach Jam. He hasn't been the guy that's been, having to close the big recruit and get him to not go to Kentucky and everything else.
Yeah, not out there shaking hands.
But if you look at who he's interacted with, they are people who, like, if he name drops, it'll resonate with the current generation. I'm gonna let you know how he has spent his NBA career. The first 10 years of Nikola Jokic in the NBA, he was coached by Mike Malone. Prior to that, he spent a bit of time with somebody you might have heard of, young Steph Curry, years 2 and 3 of his career. Prior to that, years 3 to 8 of LeBron James' career, including his first year was LeBron's first year as a All-NBA first-teamer. and then 5 straight. He also had a year mixed in there where he was coaching or an assistant coach for the Hornets with Chris Paul and David West and that whole crew. If he wants to use those players and he has a good relationship with those players, the same way Coach K kind of used the Redeem Team where, like, oh, look who's calling me. Oh, it's so rare that when I'm recruiting a 2-guard that Kobe Bryant would happen to be calling me at this time. I definitely did not send him a text saying 3:15, please give me a call. Like if he wants to use that, he has advantages based on his career that nobody else in college has. He just also has some things he has to overcome that very few in college have to overcome.
Feels like we were saying the same thing about Belichick when they hired him.
Correct, which is why I don't think you look at Belichick and say the entire theory was wrong. I think you say we got some things wrong about it. 1 being the guy's age, right? 2 being the supporting staff.
That's the big thing.
I think it's vital. And I would spend more than seems like reasonable on a general manager who has been a general manager of one of the best run programs this year. Like, go take, like you were going to do with Tommy Lloyd, go pay a buyout and take him from a top 7 program in the country. Go find whatever program you think is running the best show and buy their GM. Trade for him if you have to. Go full Moneyball for Jonah Hill's character. Like, nope, you work for me now. I just traded for you. Go buy whoever you want. Assistant coaches, they should be some of the best recruiters. Maybe not, not just like robbing a Power 4, like Final Four team of their best recruiters, but somebody from a power conference that's recruiting their tail off should be joining you. Mike Malone, everything I just said is true, right, about his history and who he's coached, and he should wear the NBA championship ring that he coached and won on all recruiting trips. But then he needs somebody like tapping him on the shoulder before they walk into the room and going over how this thing works in college. Like, all right, once you get him excited, here's what we need to actually do. This is how it works. Here's the agents aren't certified at this level. People are going to be lying to you.
Oh yeah.
Let's you need somebody there to kind of Sherpa him through a college basketball world while he can bring the sizzle.
I also wonder this as well, is that, again, because coaching in college, there's so many influences in terms of you have the athletic director. In this case, you have the Steve Newmark, the AD that's coming in after July. You have the chancellor. You get the school, all that kind of stuff. There's so many people that have their hands in the pot. Whereas I'm curious to see how much influence they're going to have in terms of selecting that staff around them. Hey, you need to keep Sean May on your staff. You need to keep Jim Tanner as your general manager. We are making you do that. Now, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was negotiated before the job took place, but people are going to want to have influence on these decisions because the Carolina family wants people to have the Carolina family still have some sort of footprint on that program. You know that's going to be the case. It's not going to be completely outside hires, I don't think, in my opinion.
I do think you have to turn over a lot of power to Mike Malone.
You have to.
I don't think people are telling him you have to keep this guy, you have to keep that guy, because they work so closely together. If you don't vibe personally, it'd be a disaster. But I think if I'm Mike Malone, I would want some connection to the Carolina family.
Yeah.
Right? That's how he finds that is kind of up to him, whether it is Sean May or whether it's somebody else or whoever, right? I think that's up to him. But, just because he's an outsider doesn't mean he should be like, the program is an outsider to our own home now. Like, it should still have flavors of it.
I also wonder as well, just if you do have people that are part of the Carolina family on the staff, how much are they going to buy into him? Like, that's a big question as well. They have to fully buy into what Mike Malone is doing, too, because otherwise you're going to have a rift. Because it's like, well, Hubert was my dude or whatever it might be. Like, hey, this guy isn't a Carolina guy. Like, you can have those feelings. You might say the right things, but those feelings can exist.
Well, yeah, that's why Malone has to pick the ones that he keeps. Like,
but still, you never know.
If somebody gives him a mandate for an assistant coach, if I'm Mike Malone, I've already negotiated. That's not happening. You can't be a head coach and have somebody bullying you into your assistants, especially not like Mike Malone. I want to be clear on this. I'm sure he made a bunch of money in his NBA career. He doesn't have to do this. You know what I mean? This is a new challenge for him. He's choosing to be at Carolina. And in the NBA, where everybody gets recycled, right? If you are a coach with a stink on you, you just wait a couple of cycles and all of a sudden you get more opportunities. Like, he could have waited for another NBA job. He's an NBA championship winning head coach. Like, that is not to be overlooked or mistaken, right? He would have had other opportunities. He's choosing this one. Now, he's probably choosing it because A, a lot of prestige, B, a lot of money. Like, it's not like he's doing it all just for altruistic reasons. But he has enough options that if they tried to bully him into something, he could walk. You know what I mean? Like, he could have said no. Go to your next option. Right? I did say this during both searches, NC State and UNC, that perhaps the best hiring practice would be to find your favorite up-and-coming, like, way underqualified head coach and bully them into like a 10-year contract where if the coach leaves, the buyout is $100 million, and if they want to fire the coach, the buyout is zippy because that guy has no leverage, right? He has no choice. If he wants to skip 10 rungs on the coaching ladder, you accept our terms. That's not Mike Malone, right? If you try to bully Mike Malone, at least the vibe I get from watching interviews and everything, he's somebody I'll tell you how he feels straight to your face. Queens, New York. And yes, his daughter does play volleyball at Carolina, so perhaps there's the in. Perhaps there's the in. How'd you like to be his daughter, by the way? All of a sudden, your dad's going to be on like posters and everything all over your college.
Right.
Your friends are going to be, painting their chest. Got to go watch your dad work. I'll be back later. Okay. It is I would say the best way to describe Mike Malone is high risk, high reward. If they can fix the things that went wrong in their hiring of Bill Belichick on the football program and acknowledge the differences between football and basketball, then I think it could be a home run. If they think, everything we did with Bill Belichick was right, we just have to give it time, then they kind of go back to that same well of tricks, then I think it could be another blow-up-in-your-face situation. And I will be here to watch. We talked about it off air earlier. The stat of the day is the Carolina football and men's basketball coaches now have combined 7 championships as head coaches at the pro level, and they have a combined 4 wins as college head coaches. 7 rings as pro sports head coaches, 4 wins as college head coaches. And they're getting paid a handsome amount each, I would assume. We don't have the details on Mike Malone, but I assume it's not super-duper cheap. Go get the best roster money can buy. That's what I would say is your next move for Carolina. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. A new job. We're talking about kids meaning children, parents that are talking about their kids that are going to school, maybe a kid's graduation, maybe when they move out. These are massive life milestones. How do you mark the passage of time? With luxury timepieces. Pre-owned and vintage Rolex, Omegas, Norcanes. These are watches that you put on your wrist to A, make a statement, look good, understand the unbelievable engineering that you have on your wrist, but also a reminder of what was going on when you got that watch, right? I'm a fan of looking at the year that watches are made and picking one that has some sentimental value to you, whether it's the year you got married, the year a child was born, graduation, retirement. You can get those and add to the nostalgic value, add to the sentimental value of a watch. And Bailey's Fine Jewelry wants to help you out. Go check it out. Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Imagine a birth year Rolex, pre-owned or vintage, that you get for one of your kids that were born, their birth year, and then later on when you're thinking about life after you pass it along. How cool is that? Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, Village District location in Raleigh. We'll be back with 2 Minutes of Gold and the Dean's List, and I can tell you there will be a Carolina flavor to this one. Stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day, dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Carolina Tar Heels have their coach, Mike Malone. Many of you remember him from 10 years as the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. Dennis, what do you think has more like eyeballs and pressure? Probably Carolina over even Denver, right? I know it's an NBA squad, but it's
expectations are higher,
Nuggets.
I would say, every year.
I mean, you could be coaching maybe the best player in the world at the time, Nikola Jokic, and I would argue that there might be more eyeballs and scrutiny on the Carolina coach than the Denver Nuggets coach.
It's crazy to think that he got fired 2 years after winning a title, like with 3 games left in the season.
I remember being very surprised when it happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, really? And probably still surprised. And he's probably super motivated to go out there and show people that they made a mistake. Maybe you're getting a hair on fire, Mike Malone. He's going to be guns blazing, shoes on fire. Let's get to work. Yeah, is that motivating him? Had the year off? He better be that kind of motivated because transfer portal opens tomorrow. So, no sleep tonight for the new coach of the Carolina Tar Heels. With that being said, though, there was also a couple of Carolina Hurricanes games over the weekend. The Canes split. They are now up to 104 points on the season, and they are nearing a division clincher. Could be as early as tomorrow.
That's right.
And for more details on, I believe this is on the loss yesterday, here's our very own Adam Gold with 2 Minutes of Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 games and 2 goals and 2 big moments as the Carolina Hurricanes just about clinched the Metropolitan Division this weekend. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. Look, the Hurricanes didn't seem to be emotionally invested in last night's game in Ottawa, so we're not either. Let's go back to Saturday when the Hurricanes basically made Pittsburgh dormy. In other words, Pittsburgh can't pass them in the standings, so it's a matter of time before the Hurricanes clinch the Metropolitan Division. And trailing 1-0 to the Islanders Saturday night at Lenovo Center, something happened that had not happened in about 3.5 weeks.
Here comes a chance. Jarvis head down. He scores! Seth Jarvis! There's a little something for you to tie this one at 1. What a shot! And the Canes on the board.
That's right, Seth Jarvis. Yes, he scored past the goalie, but really, he scored at 5-on-5 past the goaltender. And that is significant. The top line had not scored a lot at 5-on-5. They've been scoring a lot shorthanded. Oh, wait, again?
Here is Jarvis and Aho. Oh, scores! Oh, Shorty! You just keep talking to me! Carolina with a 3-2 lead. Sebastian Aho with his second shorthanded goal of the year.
Jarvis to Aho, boom. That put Carolina ahead. They would never relinquish the lead after that. It was 3-2 Carolina. And then in the third period, we got third period Bussy when we needed him.
Richie up front. Oh, Bussy with a save on Lee. Schaefer with a shot. Bussy with another save. Rebound. Clear away. Svechnikov. And it's over. Carolina hangs on.
Brandon Bussy. First goal, no good. Second goal, a little bit questionable. From there on in, Bussy was excellent. The kind of a goaltender you're going to need starting in the middle of April. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, Soundoff for being this close to being Metropolitan Division champions.
This close to winning the Metro. This close. I know it's radio, so you can't see me, but I'm holding my index finger and my thumb very close together. It is this close. Hopefully they can get it done tomorrow. That is 2 minutes of gold. Thank you very much to Adam Gold for the insight. Let's go ahead and throw it into a little Dean's List action, shall we? Dean's List first. I know that there's so much news already in the offseason in college basketball. Right, Carolina, Mike Malone's their coach. Heck, even NC State, Justin Gainey's their coach. Awards being given out. I think we have to put on the Dean's List Michigan and UConn for still playing and being where everybody wants to be. As well as, and here's, I guess, another Dean's Lister, the UCLA women's basketball team. They are the champions for the first time in their history. But make no mistake about it, like, that's why we care about the offseason, because these teams have done a better job than the teams that we care about from when it comes to winning and advancing and building their programs in a way that will thrive in March. And until our favorite teams catch up, they're going to keep trying things. They're going to keep changing coaches. They're going to keep going to the portal or going to the recruiting or going overseas to bring in prospects from Europe. Like, they're just going to keep doing it. So you got to put UConn, Michigan, and you have to throw UCLA women out there as well on the Dean's List. Dennis, do you have some Dean's Listers you'd like to throw out here?
I actually, the Frozen Four.
Oh, all right.
Is taking place. I believe we actually on the women's side, like Wisconsin won it on the women's side.
Congrats to them.
Yes.
Do we have any idea who's still rolling in the men's side?
Let me actually look and see here. The men's side is it's going to be Wisconsin, North Dakota, Denver, Michigan. I got Michigan. They could win double titles in a week.
They could. They could also go over.
Denver's a unit, though.
Yeah, I would say those are a lot of usual suspects when it comes to hockey. Gosh, Blue Bloods. That's what people say when it's all blue bloods in the Final Four of basketball, right? Oh, where's Cinderella? I don't know. They might say that in hockey too. More Dean's List. I'll put a former Tar Heel and a former Blue Devil. We'll start with the Tar Heel. Cormac Ryan.
Okay.
Lighting it up. He had 21 points. This is for the Milwaukee Bucks. He was a late season call-up to the Milwaukee Bucks. They played the Grizzlies. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals. He was 7 of 8 from the field. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He is now the first Bucks player to log multiple 20-point games in his first 7 career games since Brandon Jennings in 2009-2010. Cormac Ryan. Also, one time got really hot shooting the 3 in Cameron Indoor. You may remember. And then I do think we have to put Cooper Flagg on the Dean's List, former Duke player. His last 2 games are crazy. So last night versus the Lakers, he had 45 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals. And that was actually 6 less points scored than he had in his previous game against the Magic. He had 51, 6 points, and 3 steals on Friday against the Magic. Youngest player in NBA history to record 45 or more in back-to-back games. And he now has the most points in any 2-game span by a rookie by anyone not named Wilt Chamberlain. Even if you include Wilt Chamberlain, and usually if you include Wilt Chamberlain in a scoring record, it just ruins everything. Even if you include Wilt Chamberlain, tied for 4th most in any 2-game span by a rookie. First 3 being Wilt, and then he's tied in second with Wilt. But it's still impressive just to be amongst the Wilts. And then you know what? I'll throw Mike Malone on the Dean's List. Gets to be the head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels.
That's pretty cool.
Just recently, we were talking about during the search that The Athletic polled 51 head and assistant coaches across college basketball and asked them what's the best job in college basketball coaching, and Carolina was tied for second. Mike Malone's first head coaching job in college is, you could argue, the second, top 3, I guess, to be safe, is a top 3 job in the entire sport. Yeah, I'd say that makes the Dean's List. Let's go ahead and dismiss the Dean's List now. By the way, I said this earlier. I'll remind you again. 4:15, we will be opening up the phone lines for your takes. Obviously, Mike Malone, good hire, bad hire. What do you expect out of Carolina this year, next year? We want to hear it, but also anything else going on in sports, Canes, wherever your heart takes you. We will open up the phone lines for a Monday Soundoff at 4:15. In the meantime, we are going to hear a little bit more insight into the former Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone when we're joined by Ryan Blackburn, lead Nuggets reporter for Mile High Sports, as well as the host of the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. So that's coming up in a minute, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Big shout out to everyone that entered into the motorcycle that was given away, where the Law Tigers teamed up with the Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Motor Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Congrats to Richard. Who was awarded that bike this past Saturday at the game, live on the ice. So congrats to Richard. And thanks to everyone that participated and joined and signed up as well to participate and try to win that Ducati motorcycle. Here's the thing about Law Tigers. Law Tigers have been around for over a quarter century, 25 years. And and Law Tigers was created by motorcycle riders for motorcycle riders for the sole purpose of being there for riders in times of need. And that's exactly what Law Tigers are there for. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, even before you contact the insurance company. Insurance companies, let's be honest, folks, they want to give you the least amount possible, whereas Law Tigers, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They are there for you and to fight for your rights and your needs if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. That's why your case evaluation with them is always free, and you don't owe a dime until your case settles. So contact Law Tigers, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, or visit lawtigers.com. get in touch with them. Again, case evaluation's always free. You don't pay a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Insight into Mike Malone, the head coach from Ryan Blackburn out there in Denver, coming up next.
This April, the party's in Cary as Abbey Road Tavern and Grill Cary celebrates 30 years of great food, drinks, and unforgettable nights. The 3-day anniversary bash starts Friday night, April 10th, with live music and beer reps handing out freebies. Saturday the 11th is an all-day outdoor party with local bands and a draft truck pouring cold ones. Wrap it up on Sunday the 12th with a hangover party featuring Totally Otis and killer drink specials all weekend long. All happening at Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary. Details at abbeyroadnc.com.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons with Chapel Hill Tire. At Chapel Hill Tire, we've always been your home for the world's best tire brands. And now we're proud to announce free installation when you purchase a full set of Continental tires. That's in addition to our everyday free installation on Michelin and Pirelli, 3 of the world's most trusted names installed by the Triangle's most trusted team at no extra cost to you. Experience premium tire service. Book your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. If you've been in the market for a new home or just wanted to take advantage of lower rates, recent events have shown exactly why Miller Lending chose to offer a way around bad timing with our no closing cost program. With no fees rolled in or charged, including the cost of title insurance, you can simply close on today's rates and refinance free of charge as rates improve. Over the past several months, we spoke to numerous borrowers who had heard rates were coming down and chose to wait. We explained that if rates did fall, you could simply update a few documents and refinance again, but why take the chance? So when rates spiked to 0.5% recently, not only was I disappointed that we couldn't help those who waited, but also for those buying a home who just saw a sharp increase to their monthly payment. So while we can't control the market, we can offer an alternative. Eliminate timing and say goodbye to closing costs forever. 919-447-3377 or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
North Carolina, come out and play! Capital Range and Firearms presents Range Fest, Saturday, April 11th at the range at True North in Oxford. Featuring platinum sponsors AR-15discounts.com and Hornady, along with familiar sponsors Magpul and EOTech. Shoot full auto-suppressed firearms and enjoy live fire demos, music, food, and our high-stakes Top Shot competition benefiting the USMC Scout Sniper Association. Get yours now at rangefest.com. That's rangefest.com. See you April 11th at Oxford.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's no more Rocky Mountain High for Mike Malone. He's leaving Denver. I don't even know if he stayed in Denver for the hiatus here. But he's joining the Carolina Tar Heels. Mike Malone, news breaking earlier today. He will be the next head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. And to give us some insight into what kind of coach the Tar Heels are getting, we have Ryan Blackburn. He is the lead Nuggets reporter for Mile High Sports. He is also one of the co-hosts of Pickaxe and Roll, the podcast. So we're very excited to have Ryan here on the show. Ryan, thank you very much for the time. Let's start with the basics. Can you give us like the Cliff Notes, what kind of coach Mike Malone is as he takes over Carolina, but obviously a decade of head coaching in Denver that you can pull from?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Tim. Michael Malone's a great coach. Michael Malone, first and foremost, is a great coach. He's a great leader and a motivator of people, a good person, somebody who I've gotten to know pretty well over the course of his tenure with the Denver Nuggets. He's a fiery person. He is somebody who cares and lives with the wins and losses of the team. Fans are going to love him and love his passion in terms of what he brings to the table. He's had a lot of connections in the NBA for a long period of time, but I tend to think that his personality and his game, it will translate well to the college level. He's a really good leader, somebody that can motivate people and put them into good positions to succeed. He trusts his guys, and he goes to bat for them in a big way. So if the players and if the coaches, if they buy into the process with Michael Malone, I think he's going to be an excellent fit.
Which all sounds great. So then the natural next question is, what went wrong, right? Why, if he's that exceptional, why isn't he still the coach of the Nuggets?
It was a complicated situation. There were a variety of reasons why he was ultimately let go. First and foremost, after 10 years, things got stale at the NBA level. The message didn't necessarily hit as cleanly as it did before, where you have a guy who grew up with him in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and those guys, they believed and understand and they trusted his vision. There's no doubt about it. But in terms of motivating guys night in, night out, every single night at the NBA level, it's really tough to continue to preach the same message of effort, intensity, defensive discipline, especially for a Nuggets squad that was great offensively and would like to live with that. In an 82-game season, preaching that same message over the course of 10 years gets a little bit difficult. But the important thing is that it wasn't always about on-the-court stuff with him. There was some relationship things that he had with Calvin Booth, who was the executive that was also fired at the same time that Michael Malone was. That relationship definitely soured. There were a lot of things in which those guys just didn't see eye to eye on. And ultimately, there will be some potential concerns in terms of connecting well with the front office and the personnel and the basketball operations staff at UNC. But I think it's less of a concern than it was at the NBA level personally.
Ryan Blackburn, lead Nuggets reporter for Mile High Sports and a part of the Pickaxe and Roll podcast, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. One thing you don't have to do in the NBA is recruit, right? And recruit, obviously there's money involved now, but you still have to be, personable and charming. Does Mike Malone have that in his bag of tricks? Like, is he, when you're interacting with him, kind of a charmer?
He is. He's very much a charmer. He likes to. He's a people person first and foremost. He wants to send a good message and a good impression, but he didn't have to do as much recruiting at the NBA level because Denver ultimately did draft a couple of their top guys. But there were a lot of players and a lot of coaches and a lot of people that he was ultimately recruiting. But the message that he can bring to these players, to these guys that want to do the best for their careers, that want to potentially make it to the NBA level, Michael Malone knows exactly what you need to do at the college level in order to become an NBA player. He can understand, he understands the NBA aspect of it and the financial aspect of it, perhaps better than some college coaches. He understands the importance of setting guys up for that level of success, but he also understands how to develop people, how to develop players, because that was what he helped do for the Nuggets for a long period of time. And that's never been an aspect that I think you can criticize Michael Malone for. He is a great developer of talent and somebody that helps. When you are in his court, he will go to bat for you and he will help put you into positions to succeed and trust you, despite the fact that you may not even trust yourself at that point. So I think back to the 2019 season with him and Jamal Murray. Jamal was going through a rough period at the beginning of a first-round playoff series, his first ever playoff series at the NBA level, and Michael Malone went to bat for him. If he is going to do that for college kids as well, and for college athletes, those guys will love him. Those guys will absolutely play as hard as they can for him, and that is exactly what you want as a college program.
I'm already seeing this concern from Carolina fans. If it goes well, do you think that the maybe ultimate goal for Mike Malone is to parlay this back into an NBA head coaching job?
I don't know. I think he probably could have waited and gotten an NBA coaching job anyway. I don't think that there's anything like this is clearly there's a connection. His daughter Bridget Malone is of course a sophomore for the volleyball program. So I wonder if there was already some conversations there, some connections there with the athletic department, though you guys probably know that better than I do. But I do think that this is probably something that Michael Malone was interested in doing. His personality, his tenure is in some ways ready-made for what the college program is supposed to be and what the emphasis on NCAA basketball is supposed to be. The NBA level can be difficult in terms of all the other stuff beyond like just wanting to win and lose games. So for Michael Malone, this might actually be a breath of fresh air. Whether he's going to be the next Roy Williams or not, I can't tell you that. But I do think that there is some part of me that thinks that he could be really good for this role. And I don't think that it's going to be something that he wants to just use 1 or 2 or 3 years of in order to become an NBA head coach again. I think if he wanted to wait until this summer, there would be plenty of teams that would be interviewing him anyway.
Ryan Blackburn of Mile High Sports. Ryan, before we let you go, one more, and this is a tough one because it's a concern or an idea, but you might have to read some minds to tell me. So I'm putting it on Front Street that this one might be tough for you. Is Malone, I would use the term wise enough to like ask for help in unfamiliar territory? Is he somebody that you get the feeling college sports have changed a lot recently and changed an incredible amount since he was last involved in it? Do you get the idea? Will he bring in college sports people, or do you think he's going to surround him with his friends from the NBA?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. Yeah. He's because this one came out of left field for me as well. But he is a guy who I think wants to be the main voice in the room, certainly wants to be the leader of the group, and understanding that he was brought in to do a job and knows best and wants the final say in a lot of these matters. He's not like completely so arrogant that he will be unwilling to listen to people that may know better than he does. But he also wants the credit. He also has been in that situation before where the Nuggets have let go of a couple of assistant coaches before, and those guys were primary like proponents of the offense and taking off in the way that it did. And there's been some conversations about Nikola Jokic taking on more of a leadership role for the team and drawing up plays and things like that. And Michael Malone would always be, I think, a little bit miffed by some of that because he was the head coach and was the one drawing up plays in a lot of these late game situations. So I'm curious to see how that personality sort of makes its way into the college ranks. But he's a big personality. He's somebody who sees himself as a big time leader and somebody who can motivate people in the right ways. But in terms of the technicality of it, the X's and O's, and some of the nuances, he'll probably need somebody that can help him out with that for sure. Whether he's willing to accept that help, I think remains to be seen.
Ryan, we appreciate you for jumping on the show so quickly, and keep crushing it out there with Mile High Sports and the Pickaxe and Roll podcast, which is a great name, by the way.
Hey, thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate it. Hopefully everything goes well for you guys in North Carolina.
I agree. Thanks, Ryan. There's some interesting stuff there from Ryan. That last part, I was trying to write down darn near every word that he just gave us, right? Maybe let go of assistants who are getting some of the credit. Maybe, even when Jokic was being given credit for drawing up plays, perhaps Mike Malone was a little miffed at that because he wants the credit. If I'm being real, that sounds like a college head coach, right? Somebody that wants to control absolutely everything and wants that sounds very college head coach to me, at least in my experience with the ones that I interact with. There's quite a few that, want to be greater than anyone else. And they want everybody to know it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But there was a lot of good stuff there from Ryan Blackburn. Again, lead Nuggets reporter for Mile High Sports and also a member of the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. Before we move on, right now I want you to visit 999thefan.com or download our 99.9 The Fan app and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bill Burr, stand-up comedian, at DPAC on April 8th. I keep telling you to download the app because there's ways you can win. Here's just another one of them, right? So you can visit 999thefan.com or go to the 99.9 The Fan app, download it if you don't have it already, and you can enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bill Burr at DPAC on April 8th. Very, very funny guy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. More on the Carolina next head coach, Mike Malone, and a little football at 4 for you coming up next.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a go-see. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 984-272-2600 to get protected. Do you have unfiled returns or tax debt? We work directly with the IRS and states so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility may not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution. Local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. Call 984-272-2600. Ask for me, Greg Talbot. 984-272-2600. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's pretty out there today. We have partly cloudy skies and comfortable temperatures. We'll get up to 67 this afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and chilly tonight. We'll drop down to 47. And then lots of sunshine Tuesday with a high temperature of 66.
Don't miss Bill Burr live on April 8th. That's this Wednesday at DPAC. The early show is sold out, but a late show has been added, folks. Get tickets for comedian Bill Burr at dpacnc.com. Again, dpacnc.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today, up 165 points to 46,669.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is football at 4. I'm also going to connect it to the news that Carolina has found their next head basketball coach, which is obviously Mike Malone, former Denver Nuggets head basketball coach. Because sometimes I think we spend so much time, because it's new, because it's fresh, talking about the changes in sports without acknowledging or without focusing on, without talking enough about the things that always stay the same, right? Because if you are a true sports fan, and I think many of us are, if you are a true sports fan, you fall in love with the bedrock, right? You fall in love with the competition. You fall in love with the essence of sports. And then, sure, the rules may come and go, right? They may make something legal that wasn't, like NIL. They may make it more safe and take away some of the big hits like in football, right? They may make offensive-minded rules. They take away hand checking, whatever it is. And we debate those and we talk about those. But as long as, especially in team sports, you're getting a group of people together, they're fighting for a common goal, they're sacrificing for each other, and you put a scoreboard out there, that's the stuff we love. So, and I'm gonna trust me, the Panthers and the Carolina Tar Heels. You can throw in. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are a good part of this conversation. They're all going to show up. So last week we were at the Final Four, right? Thursday and Friday, Dennis and I did live shows. We talked to what felt like a billion head coaches, right? And we talked to what felt like a billion analysts and commentators. And quite often the Carolina job came up. And one thing you heard often from coaches, and you can go back and find these interviews online, when we talked about the transfer portal, was you better have an identity. You better know what your team is. You better know what you want, because the portal in college basketball right now is like too daunting if you don't have certain parameters or certain identifiers that can limit that group in a big way. Some are anticipating 3,000 plus names in the portal, not like over the entirety of the 2 weeks, like immediately 3,000 names some are predicting will be in the transfer portal. You can't sit down, even if like Mike Malone didn't take over today, you can't sit down and look at and watch and truly evaluate 3,000 players. You can't do 1,000. That's outlandish. So you need to know who you are, and what you're trying to do, which is where the Carolina Panthers come in. Dave Canales, their head coach, and Dan Morgan, their general manager, they showed up very confident in who they are, right? They showed up, all the talk about dogs and all the talk about I love playing football and I'm ready to play football right now. This optimistic thing, right? All the stories we heard about Dave Canales back in Seattle being the guy that would like sprint out to the practice field to make sure the tackling dummies were lined up and not crooked and they were perfect. Like that was their identity. So when things got really, really hairy there early on, like they knew who they were. And we talk about like even Bryce Young, right? Whether you believe in him or not, whether you think he's the right guy or you don't, Bryce Young is somebody who at least will fake it till he makes it on some of like that was a ton of adversity, but it really is just an opportunity to bounce back. Like they are built from that same cloth. Think about the Carolina Hurricanes and how they take on the image of Rod Brindamore. How many times has there been a big-name free agent or a big-name potential trade out there, and immediately every single Carolina Hurricanes fan goes, oh, they won't fit with the Carolina Hurricanes. Or the opposite, right? They're already a Cane. They just don't play for them yet. Like, you know what a Cane looks like. Mike Malone, I do think, brings some of that identity. And in college sports, I say it all the time, you take on the image of your head coach. I do think he brings a very distinct personality. I do think he brings on a very distinct energy. So now you have to go out and find the guys that fit, but at least you know what you're looking for, and you're not, you're going to the grocery store. Like, first of all, shout out to our area. We have every kind of grocery store here, right? When people come to visit, they're just like, goodness, you have them all. I'm not going to name brands because, no free advertising, and also I don't want to bash them because it's not their fault. Some of the grocery stores are too darn big. There's too many aisles. There's too many options. I walk in and I'm like, I'm going to be here for the next 8 hours looking for the things that I like. Meanwhile, if you go into one of those gigantic grocery stores without a list and you're just doing the old wander up and down the aisles, you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to even have a clue. You need to be very focused. That's what the transfer portal is, right? You need to be able to look at an entire aisle and go, nope, nothing in there for me. I have my list. So what does Mike Malone like? We'll wait to see as far as like archetypes of players. Like, you'd hope that he likes size because we just saw a bunch of gigantic teams make it to the Final Four. You'd hope shooting, right? All the things that you're leaning on. But from a personality standpoint, I think you're going to get like no-nonsense dudes. Nikola Jokic and Mike Malone, for the most part, got along for 10 years. Anybody pay attention to Nikola Jokic much? Nikola Jokic, I think, enjoys basketball. He loves horse racing, and he hates the spotlight. He's the only person that I've ever seen. Nikola Jokic won an NBA championship, right? The one that Mike Malone won, the NBA championship. And they asked him what he was going to do, and he was like, I can't wait to get home to Serbia. I believe that's where he's from. Serbia, and you start working with my horses. And they were like, well, when are you leaving? He was like, oh, tomorrow? They're like, dude, there's a championship parade in 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got to stay?
He was actually bummed. You go find the clip. He was like, oh, really? I have to be at a parade? Like, he was bummed by it. That, to me, says something, right? If you get along with that player, you are the most, no nonsense, no frills. You just want somebody that loves hooping, right? Or at least somebody that doesn't need to be creating drama or doing anything else away from the court. That's what Mike Malone brings. In the same way that Dave Canales brings unbelievable amounts of cheer and optimism. I
feel great about playing football right now.
Exactly. In the same way like Rod Brindamore brings intensity and two-way hockey. You need to find out what it is Mike Malone brings, what he can trademark, and what can help you kind of pare down the overwhelming size of what college basketball has become. If you look around at the best teams in the country, I think usually you kind of know what their identities are. And they might turn over their roster entirely. Look at what Michigan has done. In the 2 years with Dusty May, they had 2 good seasons. This one obviously better than last year, but they are completely different rosters as far as who's playing. Last year, they played inside out, and they had 2 7-footers. Right? It was Goldasov and Danny Wolf. And Danny Wolf had some more perimeter skills. So then those guys are gone. What are they doing this year? Well, they have a bunch of big guys, including a 7-footer in Mara and Lindeborg. And guess what? Lindeborg has some more perimeter skills. He knows what he's looking for, even if he has to turn the roster over every single year. Or you can do it the UConn way, right? UConn made the NCAA championship as well, and he's looking for loyalty. He's looking for people that want to stick around. How do I know that? Well, there's 3 guys on UConn that average 60. I did the math yesterday. I think it's 63 minutes per game this year, the 3 of them. They were all 3 around last time they won a national championship, and they played 6 minutes combined in that national championship. 2 of them played 1 minute. Solo Ball played 1 minute for UConn in their last national championship game. He's one of the most important players on UConn this year. Not many players in college basketball would play that little in big games when everybody's watching and stick around at that same school to develop into a bigger part of the team later on. But Dan Hurley is a wild dude. And he goes out and looks for those wild competitors that don't want to leave and don't want to run, and he finds them. We just talked with Ryan Blackburn, who covered Mike Malone out there for Mile High Sports in Denver, and he said this is a strong-willed individual. This is a guy who wants to be the main voice in the room. To make it a football at 4 combo. I don't see a ton of similarities as far as how they comport themselves from Dave Canales and Mike Malone, but I get the vibe that both of them like to be the main voice in the room. Same with Rod Brindamore. Very different individuals, but they all own their teams. And that, to me, is one of the best things Carolina fans have to latch onto and get excited about. Now, will it work? We'll see. Again, I think it's very high risk, very high reward. I think the bottom could fall out if he doesn't embrace college basketball and tries to do everything he did in the NBA at the college level. But if he embraces, knowing what he doesn't know, and he asks questions of those in the college sports world that can take the things that he does so well schematically and from a basketball mind and craft them towards the college world, it could work out. It could. And by the way, there's no hire that's 100%. I don't care if you got Tommy Lloyd. There was no guarantee it was going to work. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will open up the phone lines for a Monday Soundoff in just a couple seconds. Stick around. I will give you the number momentarily. But first, Dennis Cox has some info for you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick. For Loan Pronto, folks, credit card rates, they're insanely high. They're now over 29%, and most people are only making minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, you can pay off your existing HELOC, your car loans, or you can get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone with zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is opening up the phone lines. What do you think of Mike Malone getting the head coaching job at Carolina and anything else you want to talk about? The phone lines are open. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We want to hear from you. Call in now. Monday Soundoff next.
One goal.
Taylor Hall. Looking it back. Nikishin. Ehlers. Shoots his scores! On the power play. Fantilli in front. Shot. Oh, what a save by Bussy. Absolutely robbing Kirill Marchenko.
Be the last team standing.
Sebastian Aho in. Short hit back in. Scores! Oh, talk to me, Shorty!
The Stanley Cup playoffs begin April 18th on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
It's back. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale at the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Yamaha boats April 10th through the 12th. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and priced to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, April 10th through the 12th at the Car Scott Building in Raleigh, featuring Yamaha boats.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now for just $5, get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, hash browns, and small premium roast coffee. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
You've said it before. This will only take a second. Just a quick glance. A fast reply. But on the road, seconds don't wait for you. They decide everything. Who stops, who doesn't, who makes it home. So next time your phone lights up, ask yourself, is this distraction worth a ticket or even a life? Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
the reason I like this hire, there's not a massive buyout. And I think when it comes to the money, having a massive $8 or $9 million buyout, and this guy, I think Mike Malone's going to come in right away. He's going to be resourced as he can be, and he's going to expect to win right away. I think this is a great hire from UNC.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That voice you just heard was Tyler Hansbrough. I agree that a massive part of it is saving that buyout money, but it's only as good as what you do with it, right? You save that money, the opportunity cost. You didn't pay for the buyout. You better put it on the floor, right? That's not hey, we saved $9 million. We don't have to buy out the next coach. That way we can just save it, put it in the bank. No. It's only if you had raised that money for a buyout and now, hey, we don't have to pay a buyout. Let's go ahead and buy the best point guard and big man in the entire country in the transfer portal. That's how it becomes a massive advantage. Not if you're like, hey, let's put it in a long-term bond and see what happens. Like, no, you got to put it on the floor. But it is, I agree with Tyler in that it is a very important deal. The phone lines are open. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Your thoughts on Mike Malone, the next head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels. We want to hear it. Good, bad. Will it work? Will it not? Your concerns, the reasons you love it. 919-860-5326. We'll start with Isaiah in Wake Forest. Wants to sound off on UNC. We want to hear it. Isaiah, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. When I got off school today, I was surprised to see that UNC had already signed their coach. I saw this. I was listening to Next Up this morning, and Paul said the transfer portal opens in 15 hours. There's no way UNC has their coach by then. But UNC surprises everybody in getting it extremely quickly after being turned down by Altsberger, Lloyd, and Dusty May. And I'm really happy with it. I think this is a really good coach. I think he's experienced, and I think he'll be able to get the job done. The only things that you got to hope he can do is get recruits, and because you want to retain Dylan Mingo because he had committed to Hubert Davis. You want to hope that he stays, and then you got to hope he gets transfers because if you can't get those, no matter how good of a coach you aren't going to be successful in this college age. And then really quickly on the Charlotte Hornets, that was an amazing win last night. They played really good. LaMelo is looking like an all-star. I think he's playing like a top 15 guard in the NBA.
All right. I appreciate the call. A lot to get to there. Did you say top 15 guard? Is it top 15? I guess that'd be a fringe all-star. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do – like, people are kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth a little bit, and maybe this isn't, like, not individuals, but the college basketball as a whole. Everybody just keeps telling me how recruiting is just players go to the highest bidder now, and players don't care about anything. They just show me the money. Then a coach gets hired, and they're like, he's never recruited before. I'm like, well, if players are just going to the highest bidder, I mean, I'm pretty sure most humans are capable of just – texting a number. Here you go. if that's enough. If you think that coaches have to be in there, selling the program, then you just have to make sure you kind of clock yourself for saying that, and then don't later just go, oh, players are just going to the highest bidder, because you don't have to be a convincing salesperson. If every player is going to the highest bidder, you just have to budget well and fundraise well and have the full rev share and do those sorts of things, which, by the way, Carolina has a ton of money, right? The fact that they were going after the coaches they were going after shows they have a ton of money because they were paying buyouts and big salaries and everything if those ended up working out. Again, call in now. Your reactions to the Carolina coaching hire of Mike Malone. 919-860-5326. Up next, Corey in Raleigh wants to sound off on Carolina. Corey, welcome to the show. The floor is yours.
Tim, once again, I appreciate it. I like it.
I'm a diehard man, born in Chapel Hill, raised in Chapel Hill. I'm diehard, and I love it. I think there's definitely going to be some things for him to work on and to learn as a college coach. But at the end of the day, the game is changing in a way that is so rapid that I think a lot of us still can't really see what the end version of it looks like. But there's hints and there's clues on what it looks like. And if he brings in the right staff and he can talk the right game, as much as it can hurt some people to say, money does rule this now. And if we can save $20 million and put that somewhere else to whatever kid, because there are people that say, hey, the Jordan don't matter no more. These kids don't even know Jordan anymore, and the name don't matter as much as it mattered anymore and stuff like that. I still think it matters to a certain degree, but money is really going to talk in this day and age. And if you can combine the two, and I think a lot of it's the luck of the draw, man. I mean, I think that you could have pulled any name out of the hat, and nobody can actually tell you what's actually going to happen. But I think, for his fire personality, what I was looking for in a coach was that type of personality, that Dan Hurley, not quite Dan Hurley, but that Dan Hurley personality and the fire in this and just that type of personality to come in. And if you can put the money behind that type of personality with the accolades and everything else, man, I think he'll do just fine if we can keep him for more than a year.
All right. You never want to go full Dan Hurley, although he's having a lot of success with it.
No. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the call. Call back at any time. Here's my question. Maybe we'll get this answered during this Monday Soundoff period. To me, if you were to hire like an up-and-comer, right? I know Jay Lucas is a name that I've mentioned before, the Miami coach who has only been a head coach for 1 year. I think that then you build in like some patience. Mike Malone, I don't know how much patience there is, right? It's not like he's unproven. He just doesn't have college experience. So, like, if it doesn't go well year one, are Carolina fans going to be going like, he's got to learn some things? Or are they going to be going like, what's going on here? This is awful. Like, I'm fascinated to see what the expectations are. Back to the call-in line. We go to David in Raleigh. David wants to sound off on Carolina as well, and I assume they're coaching higher. So, David, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
What's going on? How you doing?
Doing well. Happy to hear from you. What do you got?
What I got is I've been a diehard UNC fan for the longest. Now, all I've been waiting for the past few weeks is who's the coach going to be, who's the coach going to be. And I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of the kids in the transfer portal are looking for. So now that we got the coach, Mark Malone, the name speaks for itself. His resume is good. I'm expecting the Tar Heels to do what they do in this offseason. I'm going to let things play out. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to be talking about in July, August, heading towards the end of the transfer portal, well, really the offseason, and getting ready for the start of the new year. I'm going to let things play out, and I think it's going to work out for the Tar Heels.
All right. Thank you very much for the call, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I think there's still like 10 checkpoints before you start judging or even like, you can't really judge a coaching hire until like 3 years into the future, whatever the cliche is. But I want to see who he hires as his assistants. I want to see who he hires as his general manager. I want to see who the big names they bring out of the transfer portal are. I want to see how much of a run they give, maybe bringing Henry Vasar back. I like, there's a lot of things that I think in this offseason will decide how I view like Mike Malone's grip on the entire process. Let alone, keeping Mingo around. One of the caller earlier brought it up, one of their 5-star incoming recruits. Like, there's a lot of things on the to-do list before Mike Malone ever gets around to coaching on the court. A lot of things he's got to do, and there's a lot of potholes and booby traps and things that can trip you up on the way to those. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, it is a Monday Soundoff. We're taking your calls, 919-860-5326. If you don't get through, I know the lines can fill up. Keep calling. They'll continue to open up, and we do want to hear from as many of you as possible, including Pat. Pat in Durham wants to sound off on Carolina. Pat, welcome to the show. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Well, first off, before a shout-out for Carolina, a shout-out to that right fielder for the Angels who brought 3 home runs back in one game. That's the most amazing replays I've ever seen for one guy in one game. In Carolina, well, they finally got a coach. It seems like they're really tapping the pros. I just hope that he doesn't have a Belichickian first year. And is the coach known for his offensive prowess or defense? And as far as a pro coach, it's like jumping out of a parachute in the practice round and then putting one on and putting them in the middle of a firefight and jumping them out of a plane. So it's a tough place to learn on the job. Even though he's a pro coach, he knows about everything. But this is a different ball game. But is he known for offense or defense? And I'll hang up and let you enlighten me.
All right, I appreciate all of that. I'm not 100% sure like what his reputation was coming up as an assistant. I've seen him credited as an assistant with the Cavs on showing up in their defense getting better. We did talk with Ryan Blackburn earlier today, who covered Mike Malone as the head coach of the Nuggets, and he talked about Mike Malone maybe moving on from his assistants for maybe one of the assistants was getting credit for drawing up offensive plays, and Mike Malone thought the credit should have been going to him, and that was obviously some inferring there. But if he's drawing up offensive plays, obviously that's part of his reputation. So it sounds like he might contribute on both ends. But I do not pretend, at least not yet, to be deep in the weeds on the advanced analytics and everything of what Mike Malone brings to the table as a head coach. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Oh, second thing, real quickly, because he brought up the guy that had the 3 robbed home runs.
Oh, yeah, for the Angels?
I don't understand advanced analytics because apparently he robbed 3 home runs and then didn't get credit for 3 defensive runs saved. It's like those are the most obvious runs saved in the history of the world.
Yeah, I mean, 1-0 win.
If he doesn't catch them, they go over the fence and into – it's a home run. That's 3 runs saved. And if guys are on base, it's more. But I don't pretend to know how those analytic equations work. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Heister Automotive Group hotline remains open. We've had some guys being patient here, so we're going to get to them. But continue to call in, 919-860-5326. We start with Reggie in Sanford, who wants to sound off on the Final Four. Reggie, welcome. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, you remember last week, I was excited about the last minute buzzer beater games and stuff like that. Well, this past weekend, it was pretty much the opposite. It was blowout city. So, even with the Michigan and Arizona game, it was, on paper, it looked like it was going to be like a Clash of the Titans, a heavyweight slugfest.
And it was not that. It was not that at all. So are you complaining? You didn't like it? Is that what you're saying?
No, it kind of – Michigan reminds me of that 2009 Carolina team that just blew out the competition,
right.
And I think this championship game tonight.
All right. I appreciate the call. We'll move on. But I will say yeah, you're right. I mean, the Michigan win over Arizona was, I think, entertaining for a different reason. It's like as entertaining as like watching a tidal wave or something where you're just like, oh, it just keeps getting, and then you realize like how powerful it is that, the thing that you're watching. The UConn-Illinois game was close. With 5 minutes left, I think it was, Illinois scored to make it a 4-point game and had UConn kind of on the ropes. UConn is just so comfortable in those moments. So comfortable. And, actually, I'm looking it up right now. UConn led by 4 with 1:38. So it was under 2 minutes, and it was a 4-point game. Just it never felt that close because UConn is so wildly experienced, and you have to give them credit. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, continues our tour around the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Monday sound-off. Lane is up next, and Lane wants to sound off on Duke UConn. So let's see what that means. Lane, take it away.
Yes, I like to say I don't think Duke lost that ball game, and I don't think UConn won that ball game because with 10 seconds to go, the foul that guy called on Boozer, was a nickel down foul. I mean, all he did was brushed him.
Okay, I have to
that should have been a play on situation.
I have to do my required response to those types of complaints. Did you go back and look at every foul that was called on UConn, and were any of those bad calls?
Yeah, I saw some with Duke too, the same way. But this is 10 seconds to go in the game. With game on the line, you let the players decide the game. The official don't decide the game in that situation.
I know, but you can't do that for one call unless you're doing that for all of the calls, right? If you're going back and changing what you think the ref messed up, you have to go back and change what the ref messed up. It's. I'm not saying that it was or wasn't a bad call. I'm just saying it's unfair to go back in history and say, like, no, you didn't deserve to lose. Maybe Duke got 5 more points than they should have earlier in the game, or 5 less points than they should have earlier in the game because of the way the refs are playing. So I appreciate the call. It's one of those deals where I don't always see the one-sided arguments there unless you went back and looked at every single call. It's really hard to just pinpoint one and say, oh, you got to change it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As always, this time on Mondays, the Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. Robert in Raleigh is up next, wants to sound off on ACC coaches. I assume Mike Malone will be in this group shortly. Robert, welcome to the show. Go ahead and take it away.
Hey, no, I'm going to talk about the hire that nobody's talking about, and I'm going to piggyback 2 calls back you had. Connecticut was only up 4 with 1:01 to go, and if you look off against Illinois, and if you look at the offensive set that Braylon Mullins hits the 3, Luke Murray, the new coach for BC, what an interview that's going to be. How long do you and Brian wait until you get that interview for us? Because the person running the offense for UConn is not Dan Hurley. It's Luke Murray. It's well known. He's their offensive coordinator. He's been coaching since 2007. I am generally anyone but BC because I'm from Connecticut. Like anyone from BC, if you want to go UConn basketball, go back to 1986 when BC would not hire a Northeastern coach because they would never hire someone from Northeastern. He had 13 years in, 245 wins. BC, 1986, wouldn't hire him, so what job does he take instead? The UConn job, Jim Calhoun. Funny BC had to dip into the UConn coaching tree to get their next coach. But that's going to be a lot of fun with Luke Murray, Bill Murray's kid, coaching BC, and I can't wait for the interview. And UConn as a dog, I don't know. I mean, we'll just see what happens tonight, and I don't like to talk gambling, but Luke Murray, it's the coaching hire that nobody's talking about. Great grab by BC. Thanks, bye.
All right, I appreciate it. I don't know if no one's talking about it. Bill Murray's on the screen every 2 seconds when you watch a UConn game. I think it's a good hire. Don't get me wrong, and I think taking a talented assistant from the most successful team in the last 5-10 years, whatever we want to say, with UConn is smart. I don't know if you want to take credit away from Dan Hurley for running that offense. It's probably more Dan Hurley has rubbed off on Luke Murray than it is Luke Murray has been some kind of like overwhelming offensive presence for Dan Hurley and deserves the credit for that offense. Dan Hurley's a good one. He is, and I say this almost as a compliment, he's a psycho, but he's a good coach. And if you take an assistant, I don't think you think like, oh, I'm taking away the secret sauce to Dan Hurley. You're hoping that assistant has stolen some of the secret sauce from Dan Hurley that he can bring to your school. We'll see if it works at Boston College. Boston College has its own set of challenges, by the way, financial and otherwise, when it comes to competing at the top of the ACC. But if Luke Murray can pull it off, he'll be a very attractive coach to a bunch of big schools in the not-too-distant future. Let's go to Luke here next. Luke in Raleigh wants to sound off on UNC. Luke, thank you very much for calling in. Take it away.
Yeah, I just want to say he does like to be called Michael Malone. I've heard that in the press. He kind of gets rubbed the wrong way when they call him Mike Malone. But I've been a Denver Nuggets fan for 30 years. He's a great hire. He's really developed the younger guys, kind of the under-the-radar college players like Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray, Jokic, guys that weren't high draft picks that really developed. So So I'm excited about the hire, and I'm curious to see if this will also lead to them doing a little bit more international recruiting with his experience with international players.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the call. We'll have to look into it. Does he not like being called Mike? He wants to be Michael Malone? We'll see. We'll figure that out. But when it comes to international players, obviously there's Jokic. I'm trying to think. You ready for a fun fact here, Dennis? Means likely nothing, but it's kind of a fun fact. I ran through all of the rosters that he's had in the NBA as a head coach. I don't think he's ever coached a Carolina guy. I don't think he's ever coached somebody as a head coach that played at the University of North Carolina. Maybe somebody who started his career there. I don't know. But no name struck me as like, oh, that guy went to Carolina. Is he – the Nuggets, have they had a bunch of internationals? I know they have Jokic, which is obviously a big deal. Jamal Murray is Canadian. Do we count that? I don't know. Like, could one of their identities at Carolina be kind of like Illinois, where Illinois had somebody from Puerto Rico, Serbia, Montenegro, a couple of brothers, the Iviciches. Like they've just – that could be something if you have connections in another part of the world that can tip you off on the good ones. That's definitely something that you could play into if he has those networks. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This has been a very fun Monday Soundoff, talking a lot about the Carolina basketball coach, but we're going to end it with a Canes call from our maybe most consistent caller, Micah in Morrisville. Micah, welcome back to the show. Soundoff on the Canes.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure, but all right. First, I'm going to say Lightning versus Sabres tonight. That's must-watch TV. The way that game ended last time, Brandon Hagel was cheap-shotting Dahlin. He's actually not in the lineup, but if you like fighting, you got to watch that game. And they're battling for first place, so you just got to watch that game. Second, I'm a little worried because, yeah, I know we're resting people, but I really do not want to see the Senators in the first round at all. So I'm the biggest New York Islanders fan and Flyers fan. I'm hoping they both win out, because I think we handle both of them. We sweep them or we either beat them in 5. The Senators, I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that is not a good matchup for us, how physical they are, how fast they are. I just don't think we match up well at all. So I think we got to root for the Islanders and we got to root for the Flyers to win out, because we can handle them very easily.
All right. Thank you very much, Micah. Dennis, I'll put that one on you. What do you think of Ottawa as a matchup for the Canes?
I think it might be, of the potential matchups, I think it might be the most difficult one, but it's Linus Ullmark in a 7-game series doesn't scare me.
Okay.
Linus Ullmark, their goaltender in a 7-game series, doesn't scare me. But it will be tough because they have guys that can play. Like Brady Tkachuk is going to be in your face. That's he's just going to agitate you. That's what he's going to be. But I think overall their depth and talent is just better. Carolina's, that is.
Yes, I think Carolina's depth and talent is better. Okay. Wanted to make sure I had the whole subject predicate agreement there. I agree with that, but also part of me wants and maybe this is the Canes thing, right? I'm surprising Micah was going this route. Part of me just wants the Canes to say anybody, anywhere. I'm not jockeying for position. I'm not rooting for anybody. Like, you're going to have to beat good teams. Fist meet wall. You know what I mean? Hammer meet nail. Whoever that is, it's just got to work. But, yeah, I agree that Ottawa's probably the least preferable if you're doing that sort of thing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that calls in on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Always enjoy hearing from you. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. I always enjoy hearing from you. I also always enjoy hearing that you've taken care of yourself and your house, and it's running smoothly because you called Mainer Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, things that we take for granted and you should be able to take for granted, right? These are things that you shouldn't have to worry about. When you flush your toilet, you shouldn't sit there and hold your breath going, is it going to work? You should know it's going to work. And if it doesn't, no worries. Just call Mainer Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. It's a great time to start thinking about cooling system maintenance, right? Get your air conditioner running as well as it possibly can before it gets 1,000,000 degrees outside. So give them a call, whether there's maintenance that needs to be done, service schedule that needs to be set up, or there's something more emergency happening with your heating system, cooling system, plumbing, or electric. The number, 919-361-0000. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit them online at MaynorServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. MAYNOR Services.com. How does UNC build their roster? Now they have their coach. Who's he going to be coaching? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Sound Station and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Sound Station and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Sound Station and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Sound Station and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. Like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite. Except the second first bite. Get a Cajun filet biscuit combo today at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. Enjoy a Cajun fried filet tucked inside a hot made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Make it a combo and add your choice of fixin' and legendary sweet tea. And remember, Bojangles Cajun filet biscuits are served all day, every day. Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So, even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Mike Malone, head coach Carolina. If you're just tuning in now, maybe you're just getting to your car, that's the news of the afternoon. Michael Malone, former Denver Nuggets head coach, NBA champion head coach, now the head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels. All the insiders breaking that a couple hours ago. Now that you have the coach, the question becomes, who is he going to be coaching? And sure, you could go, if you wanted to, and it would take some time, you could go build your fantasy roster in the portal, right? You could go pick names and say, I want this guy, and I want that guy, and I want this guy. But you're not going to be right. That's like picking the perfect bracket, right? There's just too many options. So there's no chance you're going to nail it. But you can maybe think more in the theoretical, right? What type of roster works best for Michael Malone and Carolina? And I'm going to mix in some talk about tonight's NCAA championship game. My ideal path, if Michael Malone is going to mimic somebody, Go the Michigan route. Michigan and Dusty May went out and rebuilt their team in the transfer portal. And they got veterans. They got players from big programs that were proven. And I'm sure, without knowing the exact number, they spent to do it. Right? I was on ESPN yesterday, and I called it the best roster money can buy at Michigan. And UConn, meanwhile, on the other side, is kind of the best roster Dan Hurley could grow, right? They have guys that have been around and have built it. That's, to me, a lot of competition to do it the UConn way. Every coach out there thinks, I'm going to find the diamonds in the rough. I'm going to plant these seeds. I'm going to water them. They're going to love it here. They're not going to leave. We're going to win national championships, so they're going to want to stay. They're going to want to be a part of this. And then by the end, we all get a parade. One, that's really tough. I'm not sure if the UConn blueprint works if they're not winning national championships. They are, so credit to them. But I'm not sure you get guys to stick around as they have if you're not winning national championships. Two, there's a ton of competition down that way because you can sell your athletic directors and your boosters on building that way no matter what your budget is. The Michigan way, how Dusty May got this far, you can't sell your boosters on that path if you don't have deep pockets. And Carolina has deep pockets. Right? Remember, I'll put it to you this way, and this was this past year. The Sweet 16 went on 3, went in and did their best reporting to find out how much roster evaluation, how much salary essentially was on the court for each Sweet 16 team. And UNC was not in the Sweet 16, but for each Sweet 16 team, and they did it in like tiers. The top tier was $10 million plus. That was like these teams are loaded, their rosters are super expensive, $10 million plus tier. Inside Carolina says Carolina's roster this past year was $14 million plus. And I would imagine, because anytime a coaching change happens, that's usually when resources are drummed up and boosted. I always feel that's one of the ways I feel bad. And I know you shouldn't really feel bad for them because they get paid to leave and everything. But it's one of the ways I always feel bad for the former coach, the fired coach, is like the coach gets fired. The next coach does better, but they do better with like 4 times the NIL. And then everyone's like, look how much better the next coach is. And the other guy's going, well, if he gave me 4 times the NIL, I might have been better too. But during negotiations and everything is when those numbers are boosted. So if Carolina had $14 million last year in their roster and Michael Malone used some likely considerable leverage and a bit of a desperate Carolina team that felt the ticking clock of the portal coming to get that, I need even more, I need more, they're going to have some really deep pockets. Now, you could use that to go find 5-star freshmen, or you could do that to go find somebody averaging like 20 and 12 at South Alabama and a couple of guys that are role players on Elite 8 teams this year and put it all together into the best roster money can buy. Michigan brought in 4 transfers this past year. I'm going to just describe them for you. A 7-footer, 7'3", in a world where that's really important, from UCLA, right? It's not like this guy was hidden somewhere. The number 1 transfer in all transfer rankings from UAB. A 6'6" wing from Illinois, another Final Four team. And, the hidden gem known as the former 8th overall recruit in the country who had spent 2 years playing point guard for North Carolina, Elliot Cadeau. So that's Adai Mara, UCLA, Yaxel Lindeborg, UAB, Morez Johnson Jr., Illinois, Elliot Cadeau, UNC. They are the 4 most important people for Michigan. They are the 4 that are driving the bus for them to the Final Four and now the national championship game, and they were bought. Dusty May didn't have to develop them. Other coaches did that. So if you're Michael Malone or if you're Carolina and you have your coach that you trust the scheme, right? He's got or 12 years of head coach in the NBA scheme experience, right? He knows how to draw up a slob, a sideline out of bounds play, right? He knows how to scheme up whatever he needs to scheme up, but you need to get him the players that'll fit. Go get him a bunch of 22-year-olds. Right? Go get him a bunch of 22-year-olds that are ready to be dealt with like adults. Right? Treated like NBA players. I was texting with my buddy just now who's a college basketball diehard, and I'll actually just read the text for him. I don't see how an NBA coach can thrive in a world of entitled kids unless he comes in like the AP high school teacher saying, I'm not going to baby you, I'm going to treat you like an adult like they'll do when you get to college. And I don't know if that works with 19-year-olds that are making millions, but it might work with a 22-year-old who had to grind to get where they are, cashed in, and still wants the dream to continue. Still wants the dream to continue. Meaning to the next level and everything else, and wants to be coached hard. There are a bunch of different ways that you can put together a really good roster. You have to choose the one that fits your coach. Right? I'm not somebody who sits here and thinks Duke shouldn't go after the super recruiting classes anymore because a couple of freshmen have made plays that cost them games at the end in crucial games. I think John Shire does a really, really gosh darn good job of identifying really good freshmen and coaching them up throughout the year, and eventually it's going to work for them. I don't think that is what Dusty May should be doing. I don't think that is what Dan Hurley should be doing. I don't think that is what Carolina should be doing with Michael Malone now. Just like I don't think the things that are going to work best for those teams are what's going to work for Duke. You have to find your coach's personality and build around it. And if Michael Malone just spent a decade, coaching the older generation, right? Coaching guys that are 25, 26, 27, 28, 30 years old, 35 years old, go find the closest thing you can to that. And luckily, because the transfer portal exists, you can do it. There's that, like, I'm trying to think. What is it? Christian Brown? They had out there with the Nuggets, drafted out of Kansas. Like, he probably got his hands on him and started developing him at like 20 years old. You can do the same thing at Carolina that he did with that player. You can go get him 20, 22-year-old. He doesn't have a lot of experience taking the guy straight out of high school. But he has experience of taking guys that have played 2 years in college and helping them reach the next level. That's a lot of what NBA coaching is nowadays. And he has got a lot of experience taking guys from Europe and getting the best out of them. That's a lot about what college coaching is nowadays. Do the things that he does well. That's I think, the number one deal. Find the things that Mike Malone does well already. Don't ask him to, he's going to have to learn some new things. If you can limit the number of new things that you ask him to learn, that's best case scenario. He can learn those slowly over time. If he comes in with some ready-built skill sets, try to get those to be the most high-usage parts of your team. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Miller Lending. We've seen it, within the last, 2 months? Rates up, rates down, interest rates, mortgage rates. People are promising things. They're going to keep dropping. They're not. Listen, I wish I could predict them for you. Right? If I had some kind of crystal ball, I would tell you. You want to get your mortgage on June 12th. Like, I wish I could do that, but nobody can. Rates are volatile. So instead of paying down rates, buying points, trying to set yourself up for success that way, only to then see rates drop to the number that you bought them down 2 weeks later. Instead of doing that, call up Miller Lending, ask for the no-cost loan, the no-closing cost loan. What that does is it gives you the flexibility to take advantage of a volatile market, right? If rates go up, obviously you've locked in your rate, you're good to go. If they drop, no-cost refi over and over and over again. If they keep dropping, there are those here in the station that have done it a bunch of times, leave happy and satisfied every single time. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. Be sure to give them a call, 919-447-3377. Once again, that phone number, 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online, millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. It is almost 5 o'clock today. It's flying by. Starting 5 next.
Move your sports day forward.
You want a jump start to your program like no other? Hire one of your own. It's exactly what NC State did, and they erased one big hurdle the new coach was going to have, which was earning trust. Justin Gainey's the guy now. Do his expectations of success align with those who were sitting in that room when he said he was at home?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
This April, the party's in Cary as Abbey Road Tavern and Grill Cary celebrates 30 years of great food, drinks, and unforgettable nights. The 3-day anniversary bash starts Friday night, April 10th, with live music and beer reps handing out freebies. Saturday the 11th is an all-day outdoor party with local bands and a draft truck pouring cold ones. Wrap it up on Sunday the 12th with a hangover party featuring Totally Otis and killer drink specials all weekend long. All happening at Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary. Details at abbeyroadnc.com.
My buddy dies. I show up to the funeral. Open casket. We're still doing that? I've never understood open casket. I don't get it. It's like, you told me he was dead. I believed you.
From the Monday Morning Podcast, his hit film Old Dads, and his latest Grammy-nominated special on Hulu, comedian Bill Burr. Early show sold out. Late show added. April 8th at DPAC. Get tickets now at dpacnc.com. Don't miss Bill Burr.
Progressive presents a guided meditation.
Hear the birds sing. A chipmunk nibbling on an acorn. Smell the pine needles gently falling into your living room as the breeze blows through the gaping hole in your roof. Gaze up at that broken tree branch and relax because you bundled your home and auto with Progressive and have the peace of mind of 24/7 protection. So relaxing.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
The Canes light the lamp here. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. It's a cooler week. Temperatures are going to be dipping into the upper 40s tonight. Make sure that you've got an extra layer on hand. It is mostly cloudy tonight. We'll see decrease in clouds Tuesday. High temperatures are in the mid-60s. Wednesday, we may start the morning with patchy frost.
Weather update brought to you by Range Fest, presented by Capital Range and Firearms at the range at True North in Oxford on Saturday, April 11th. That's this coming Saturday. Experience a day of shooting activities for all skill levels, live music, games, and delicious food. Tickets at rangefest.com. DPAC.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today up 165 points to 46,669. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to the starting five, I do just want to let everybody know that immediately after this show, 6 o'clock, so almost exactly an hour from now, we're going to turn the station over to the Westwood One pregame show for the national championship tonight. Obviously, UConn and Michigan participating in that one. The opening tip, 8:50. That's when it's scheduled for, 8:50 p.m. Goodness. I feel, you know what I feel bad for, Dennis?
What's that?
Like all the fourth grade diehard basketball fans out there. Just because I remember being that kid where it's like, oh, can I just 10 more minutes? Because you just want to watch tip-off. Like, what are we doing here? 8:50 is too late.
I think I remember one time as a kid, I think it was actually 2000 when Michigan State won it. I had I had to get up early morning for school and all that stuff, and parents were like, no, you got to go to bed. And I was like, darn. I actually had a radio in my room, and I turned the volume really low and listened to the play-by-play in bed.
Old school.
Yep.
I used to beg for a quarter of Monday Night Football. Let me just get a quarter. Because it used to be when you hear that Monday night song, right, when they're singing a little intro. It's, I know. 8:50. What time? One shining moment's going to be midnight. Anyway, that is not even a part of the starting five. Haven't even started yet. It's now time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bruh.
The transfer portal opens up tomorrow. Chaos will ensue. It is, I'm only half joking there. Chaos will ensue. If there's one thing that was most obvious when we were at the Final Four for Radio Row, talking with all the coaches, is that the chaos has already ensued. It's just you got to keep it under wraps until tomorrow. Wake Forest's Juke Harris, who has made it known that he's going into the portal, also putting his name in the NBA draft, is, according to 247 Sports right now, the third highest ranked transfer portal in the country. Flory Badunga from Kansas is the top, one of their big guys. John Blackwell, a shooting guard from Wisconsin, is second. Those are the only two ahead of Juke Harris from Wake Forest. Other names that of note that are in the portal: Matt Abel was the top-ranked freshman that joined NC State this past year. Obviously, with their coaching change and everything, there's some portal expectations there. He's in the portal. He is currently the 22nd player in the portal, according to 247 Sports. Jaden Young, I saw, went into the portal from Carolina. He's a player who started his career at Virginia Tech. There's going to be a lot of portal movement. There's a few things to remember. One, just because they're in the portal doesn't mean they can't come out and go back to the school. We've seen Seth Trimble do that. We've seen others. Also, the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. Okay? If you think your team needs to add in the portal, or some of your favorite players that have participated in helping your team over the last few years came out of the portal, I don't know how mad you can be if some of your players hit the portal as well, right? You can't have the benefits of the portal without having the negatives of the portal. It exists. It's a part of the game. Some players will use it to get rich. Some people will use it to find better situations, and some will absolutely regret going into the portal. All of those things can be true. But you can also really build the team pretty darn quickly if you pick the right ones and you pay top dollar. Juke Harris will be very, very popular. And I imagine he's going to get some calls from down the street, meaning some triangle teams will likely be calling the Wake Forest transfer portal player. That is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
You have got to be kidding me.
There's an executive order issued from the office of the president. Not like the president of the NCAA, like Donald Trump, the president.
Not Charlie Baker.
Telling a laundry list of things, ordering a laundry list of things for the NCAA to enact. The most notable that I'm seeing talked about most often is the order directs the NCAA to create rules that mandate college athletes can play for no more than a 5-year period and allows them to transfer schools only once before they graduate without having to sit out. And he wants those rules to go into effect August 1st. Here's the issue. These rules were pretty much already in place. They were. Guess what happened? The court said you can't keep doing them. And I don't pretend to be like the expert on politics or executive orders or anything, but I'm pretty sure you can't just like not listen to the courts because an executive order told you so. There was a one-time transfer rule, and then you needed a waiver. And then remember Tez Walker with Carolina? You can't transfer twice. And then they eventually he was able to transfer twice, and he played, and then he got hurt. But that's a whole other story. I'm gonna go big picture here because we could argue about the individual things. By the way, for most of these rules, I think they would make college sports better. I think they would make it more enjoyable. They'd make it more like the college sports I fell in love with growing up. But I just don't think they're going to last. And here's why. The thing that everybody in college sports is, meaning the powers that be, and now even the politicians getting involved, are missing. The courts will not let you ignore the players. So if you're going to take something away from the players, there has to be a compromise. There has to be a concession. Similar to what you see the professional athletes do. And I know you don't want to compare it to professionals, but hey, they are. Where like in CBA negotiations, it's all right. If you want another game, owners, you have to take away an off-season workout or no more two-a-days, right? Or whatever the players are asking for, right? You have to give to get. And every single time somebody offers up changes to college sports, all they do is say, I don't want the players to be able to do any of the things they're doing, without ever going, okay, well, what are the players going to get to give you back some of those things that the courts have given them? If we want my solution, right, trying to be a solutions guy, not just problems guy, I think you should, instead of outlawing the things you don't like about college sports, you should incentivize the things you do like about college sports. So instead of saying, I hate when guys transfer every year, let's outlaw more than one free transfer, which I think the courts will overturn. Instead of saying it that way, go glass half full with it and say, I love when players stay 4 years at one school. How do we incentivize that? So I started thinking, the NBA does this. It's something called bird rights. If you sign an extension with the team that you're playing for, you don't hit free agency, you don't go to the bigger market, they can pay you more without having the same hit of the salary cap. So what about this? If you are paying revenue share to a player who's been at your school for, say, I don't know, at least 3 years, it only counts 50% against your revenue share total. So you can pay those players more without counting against your revenue share. Or what about this? If you stay at a school for 4 years, so you're there for 4 seasons. By the way, out of high school, you go there and you stay for 4 years. You get a 5th year of eligibility, which you can spend anywhere at that school if you want or somewhere else. If you transfer, you don't get a 5th year of eligibility because you're only guaranteed 4. Huh? Incentivize the good rather than outlawing the bad.
Now, you know that all get challenged, too. Like, wait, hold on. Wait, my coach left, or I got a family thing. It's the same thing from earlier.
Then transfer. Go. Nothing is stopping you from transferring. There's
but
nothing
then, like, why don't I get my 5th year?
Because you didn't stay all 4 years.
Again, like, I'll fight that in court.
There's nothing to fight.
What do you mean? It's no different than in the past where you can only transfer once, or extenuating circumstance. I got a family issue. I got to get back close to home.
Family issue,
those kinds
transfer.
of things.
We'd love to have you transfer. We're excited to have you transfer. Go wherever you need to go.
That shouldn't cost me my 5th year.
It's not costing you.
Yeah,
Everybody's guaranteed 4.
Yeah.
You get an earned extra 5.
I think that would get challenged real fast.
I don't know about that. Like, you can't challenge bonuses. Like, it's a bonus.
But again, now you're making them employees, which is what the NCAA doesn't want to do.
It's not a financial bonus. It's a extra year of eligibility, which, by the way, happens already.
Which does have financial benefits, though.
For sure.
Yeah. So now we get challenged.
If eligibility as a whole is challenged, which is what you're saying, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, none of it matters, right? Because all of them, and we've seen these challenges. If eligibility gets overturned, college sports are done. So you're gonna have 10-year guys. As long as eligibility is intact, 4 years of eligibility over 5 is what you're guaranteed. That is number 4. Let's get to number 3. National championship is tonight. UConn, Michigan. Dennis, why don't we go ahead and get some picks out of the way here? Mm-hmm. Who do you have? UConn or Michigan?
Well, I think I'm going to stick with the pick I made on Friday, which is UConn over Michigan when we made these picks.
Yeah, my bracket is completely shot. Shouldn't have stayed loyal. Michigan, to me, looks like a wagon.
Yeah, they do.
But I feel like I have to say this just in the interest of full transparency. This is my 4th time in this tournament picking against UConn. So one of these times I'm going to be right. Maybe not. I picked Michigan State over UConn. I picked Duke over UConn. I picked Illinois over UConn. I'm picking Michigan over UConn. So do with that what you will. If you want to fade me, go right ahead. That appears to be good business.
The spread I saw was 7.5.
7.5. But again, like, I think, it's very obvious to me that Michigan, just like body for body, is a more talented basketball team than UConn. But I think so is Duke. I think you could make an argument that Illinois was. And UConn has proven that their experience level, their coaching, their cohesion makes their total greater than the sum of its parts. They are a very, very good basketball team that will give up size at nearly every position to Michigan, but they will be more experienced together than nearly every position at Michigan. So I think it'll be a good game, but I do think Michigan. I think 7.5 is a good number. I think they'll win by 2 possessions, and depending on free throws, anywhere between 7 and 9. But that, to me, that doesn't take away anything from how impressive UConn has been over the last 5 years. 3 out of 4 years in the NCAA tournament championship, with how much randomness happens in the NCAA tournament, that's pretty outlandish and deserves credit.
I mean, you got to think that they could be winning their 7th national title since 1999.
Alex Karaban,
which is insane,
right now is tied for the 2nd most wins in the NCAA tournament in history with Bobby Hurley at Duke. And if he wins, they both have 18. Christian Laettner leads the way with 21. So if Karaban and UConn win tonight, he's going to have the 2nd most wins in NCAA tournament history of any player, and he'll have more national championships than Christian Laettner has. He'll have 3 of them, and Christian Laettner would just have the 2. So, I mean, I don't think Karaban vaults even to like the Mount Rushmores of like all-time UConn players, because there's Rip Hamilton and Ray Allen and Emeka Okafor and all these other guys.
Caron Butler.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he makes the top 10, but he'd have 3 national championships. That'd be a pretty good bar bet. Remember his name for 10 years from now when he's not so top of mind, and be like, hey, who do you think has the 2nd most wins and 3 national championships in NCAA tournament history? It'd be Alex Karaban. That is number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Let's do that hockey.
The Carolina Hurricanes had a back-to-back over the weekend. They split. For more details on what the Canes put on the ice, it's our very own Adam Gold from here on 99.9 The Fan with 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 games and 2 goals and 2 big moments as the Carolina Hurricanes just about clinched the Metropolitan Division this weekend. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. Look, the Hurricanes didn't seem to be emotionally invested in last night's game in Ottawa, so we're not either. Let's go back to Saturday when the Hurricanes basically made Pittsburgh dormy. In other words, Pittsburgh can't pass them in the standings, so it's a matter of time before the Hurricanes clinch the Metropolitan Division. And trailing 1-0 to the Islanders Saturday night at Lenovo Center, something happened that had not happened in about 3.5 weeks.
Here comes a chance. Jarvis head down. He scores! Seth Jarvis! There's a little something for you to tie this one at 1. What a shot! And the Canes on the board.
That's right, Seth Jarvis. Yes, he scored past the goalie, but really, he scored at 5-on-5 past the goaltender. And that is significant. The top line had not scored a lot at 5-on-5. They've been scoring a lot shorthanded. Oh, wait, again?
Here is Jarvis and Aho. Oh, scores! Oh, Shorty! You just keep talking to me! Carolina with a 3-2 lead. Sebastian Aho with his second shorthanded goal of the year.
Jarvis to Aho, boom. That put Carolina ahead. They would never relinquish the lead after that. It was 3-2 Carolina. And then in the third period, we got third period Bussy when we needed him.
Richie up front. Oh, Bussy with a save on Lee. Schaefer with a shot. Bussy with another save. Rebound. Cleared away. Svechnikov. And it's over. Carolina hangs on.
Brandon Bussy. First goal, no good. Second goal, a little bit questionable. From there on in, Bussy was excellent. The kind of a goaltender you're going to need starting in the middle of April. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for being this close to being Metropolitan Division champions.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold right there, all about the Canes. Tomorrow could be the clincher for the Metro. Tomorrow could be the day.
By the way, last home game of the season.
Yeah, ending with 4 straight road games
is
just kind of a bummer for fans. But they've clinched the postseason, so you know there's more to come. But still a weird scheduling quirk.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it doesn't motivate more rest rather than like full steam ahead all the way to the end. If you're like, they're going to be exhausted from traveling anyway, regardless of it being at the end of the season and everything else. 4-game roadies are not not what you want to do if you're looking to get like rest and relaxation.
Let's also not forget the fact that Jordan Saul and Jordan Martinook did not play yesterday. Undisclosed injuries.
And they're not the springiest of chickens, you know what I mean? They're not spring chickens out there, those two guys. By the way, check out the Behind the Storm, the most recent one that the Canes put out. You learn a little bit about Jordan Martinook and where he comes from and everything else. Just an interesting little peek into his life. That was number 2. How about number 1?
The one! Finds Struce back to Larry. There it is, 3-pointer. Won't go. Rebound called off Pope. They're not going to foul. The Heat will let it play out. It's over. At last, the long wait is over. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets can finally call themselves NBA champions.
That is what it sounded like when brand new North Carolina Tar Heels head coach Michael Malone led his Denver Nuggets to the NBA championship. That was, quite frankly, not that long ago. That was in 2023. The NBA is a cruel world. You can win an NBA championship, be gone, just under 2 years later. because he didn't even finish the 2025 season, right?
Yeah, he was fired with 3 games left.
Brutal. I do wonder how much that, as we look at Michael Malone and how he's going to run his Carolina program and what he's going to do and what pitfalls he's going to have to avoid and everything else, I do wonder how that championship team might hang over everything, right? Sometimes I think it's overdone where people put championship teams that they were a part of on like some pedestal as that is the right way to play. And you try to recreate that for the rest of time, and it doesn't work. Maybe the best example would be Phil Jackson, right? Wins a bunch of championships with Michael Jordan. Then he's like, you know what? I will come out of retirement to coach that guy. And it's Kobe, who looks as close as anyone's ever had to Michael Jordan, and we will run the triangle offense, and we will have. It's like, well, you're doing the exact same thing, aren't you? It's like, yes, I'm doing the exact. That is the right way to play basketball. If you look at that Denver Nuggets team, they had a lot of good players, right? Don't get me wrong, they had a lot of good players, but they also had Nikola Jokic, and if you think the best way to play is the things you do to maximize Nikola Jokic, that's not an easy puzzle piece to find, right? You don't just go like, we'll find the college version of Jokic. It's like, oh, you mean like an unbelievable basketball savant that doesn't have to move fast at all to dominate the best athletes in the world? That's all? That's what you're going to go? You're just going to go track that down somewhere, bring them on in? Give him a scholarship and a little NIL money and have it. And then just surround him with shooters, right? Clutch guys like Murray and a few others. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't think it's that ideal. I think what you had was Nikola Jokic, and that solves a lot of problems. So what you hope happened is Michael Malone recognized, and by the way, he was there for the entire development of Jokic, right? So he deserves at least some credit for taking him from second-round pick to one. I don't even know where you put him, like a top 5 center of all time. He's got a whole bunch of MVPs. That helps. What you hope happened is he recognized what he had in Nikola Jokic and then built everything off of his unique skill set. And you hope he can do the same, right? Which means he's going to go look for another great player, somebody that he can bring into Carolina, and then build everything off around that person. You're not building the same thing. You're just building it in the same order as you did with your championship team. Dennis, I've been monologuing quite a bit because I think it's fascinating that UNC kind of went off the board to get Michael Malone with so many other names having been mentioned. What do you think? Good hire, bad hire? Scale of 1 to 10, good being 10?
I put it at 6.
Okay, so that's more good than bad. But
I'd say more good than bad. Again, I don't question the guy's basketball acumen, his IQ, and able to coach. But the question is, how do you adapt to the college aspect of all of this? College is different than the pros. I know everything is, well, you're running things like the pros. Like the pros and being the pros are two different things. You still have to worry about NIL, fundraising, roster construction. You don't just draft players. You got to recruit them. And also, you can't just sign them to long-term deals. Guess what? After a year, all your team could go.
That's, to me, the biggest part that people don't mention when they're like, it is professional sports. I'm like, no, it's actually –
It's not.
It is professional sports, but it's not in the way you're just like the person talking is just making it apples to apples with the NBA. It's professional sports with the entire league and free agency every offseason.
Yep.
Which for a coach, like there's very little time to like break somebody down and build them up. There's very little time to say, trust me, right? We've got a vision here. When you have somebody on a rookie contract and you know that they're relatively cheap for 4 years, you can actually like really dig your teeth in and develop that guy.
Yeah, there's no G League to send, hey, go get reps down there as a point guard playing 30 minutes a night in the G League, and then we'll bring you up halfway through the season. There's no two-way contracts. Not how it works.
It's
either you hit or you miss.
You can build up trust. I think Dan Hurley's done it at UConn, where they had guys that played very little 3 years ago that are now main contributors. but it's taken him a long time to do that.
Yeah.
And UNC, let's be real, they're not going to be patient. Like, Carolina fans are not going to be patient. Michael Malone, you bring him in because you want to win now. And now is not 4 years from now. I do think there were coaches out there that they could have hired that maybe would have gotten a little bit more patience if they went with like a true younger up-and-comer, maybe early 40s. But if you go 54-year-old with an NBA championship, that's the kind of hire you make if you want to win immediately. I want to see his assistant coaches. That's really what I want to see. I want to see who he hires to his coaching staff, and that'll tell me a lot about what I expect from the Michael Malone era of Carolina. If he hires guys with a combined, and this is what the graphic says when they announce them on social media, they have a combined 82 years of NBA coaching experience, I'll go, this is a disaster. But if they hire a bunch of guys who are like, you probably don't know this, but he was actually driving a lot of the success at Baylor, I'd go, oh, this is interesting. Now I might be all in here. That's what I'm looking for. And not just pick Baylor. Could be any school that's had some recent basketball success in college. We do have numbers game coming up. We have some cool tickets for you to potentially win. But first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. By the way, big shout out to everyone that entered in to win that custom Canes Ducati motorcycle that the Law Tigers teamed up with the Carolina Hurricanes to win that custom Ducati motorcycle, courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. That Ducati motorcycle goes to Richard. Richard actually won that Ducati motorcycle, was actually on the ice at the game on Saturday when the keys were handed over to him. So congrats to Richard and to everyone that participated in that as well. It's really cool that the thing about Law Tigers that I really appreciate is that the people in the motorcycle riding community love to give back to the community, and Law Tigers is a big part of that. On my motorcycle, I've been on some different charity rides and things along those lines and help fundraising for local organizations and things like that. And Law Tigers has been part of that. And that's what Law Tigers is there for. They're there for the motorcycle riding community when in time of need. And that's why if you're injured in a motorcycle accident, you got to give them a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact the insurance company. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. And here's the reason why. Law Tigers, like I said, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth, what your gear is worth, but also they understand the dangers out there on the road. Insurance companies want to give you the least amount possible. Law Tigers, they're there to fight for you. So give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9. The Fan needs numbers game contestants. The prize for today, a 4-pack of tickets to Range Fest at The Range at True North in Oxford, North Carolina on April 11th, all presented by Capital Range and Firearms. If you want to win the 4-pack of tickets, you got to win the numbers game. If you want to win the numbers game, you have to call in now. So call in 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326 for your chance to play the numbers game and potentially win the tickets to Range Fest. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Golf's first major will be found on 99.9 The Fan. Listen all week long as we cover golf's lasting tradition, the Masters. Find out if Rory McIlroy can recreate his Augusta magic or if a new champion emerges. Depend on us for constant leaderboard updates and every big moment through the presentation of the Champion's Jacket. Coverage of the Masters on 99.9 The Fan is teamed up by Wilson Country Club, the premier private club of Eastern North Carolina.
You've got rhythm. Your heart's got rhythm. Then one day your rhythm's off, and you've got AFib, atrial fibrillation. The good news is you've also got an AFib center, where specialists in AFib have multiple treatment options for you. Want more good news? Most of them are minimally invasive. Learn more at wakemed.org. And what do you say you and your heart get the band back together?
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stopped, opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck Advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Someone out there is going to get lucky because, well, one line just opened back up. So call in now, 919-860-5326 if you want to win the Range Fest tickets. We have a 4-pack, not just a pair, a 4-pack. 919-860-5326. If you call in quickly, you might be straight from the call straight into the numbers game, which happens occasionally, not often. The reason why I say you're lucky is, you could have, misplaced your phone or something, and now you found it, and you're dialing in. You still got a chance. 919-860-5326. There you go. Looks like Dennis is fielding the call, which means it is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today are Michael and Raleigh, and joining us, Hunter and Raleigh. They'll be competing for the Range Fest tickets using jersey number trivia. As always, we'll bring each of them onto the show, ask them the same question, and Dennis will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. Let's go to Hunter first. Hunter, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go. This is Hunter, right, that we're talking to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hunter, it is Monday, which means our weekend just wrapped up. What was the highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure it relates somehow to sports.
My highlight this weekend would be definitely saying, I guess it's kind of a weekend, but I guess I'll include that I enjoyed seeing that Carolina finally got a good coach in the so I'm happy to see Mike Malone be the new coach.
All right, so you're excited that Carolina hired Michael Malone. Dennis, any follow-ups?
No.
All right, cool. We will roll to Michael and Raleigh. Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Same question to you. The weekend just wrapped up. What was the highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure it somehow relates to sports.
I mean, I guess just because I'm a Jets fan, the highlight of every April is the draft because that's all we get. So I'll just watch all the mock drafts.
All right. Hey, a man after my own heart. I'm all about mock drafts. Dennis, the options are Carolina hiring Michael Malone, that was from Hunter, or Michael being a Jets fan getting deep into the weeds with the mock drafts.
I mean, neither of those really happened this weekend. I guess some mock drafts and stuff actually came out. But I will give you credit here, Michael. The fact that you willingly and openly admitted that you're a Jets fan, I'll give you credit on that one. I'll go Michael and Raleigh on this one.
All right, Michael and Raleigh gets to go first. Don't worry, Hunter, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold for a second. Michael, are you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right, the categories are NFL players, all-time Carolina Panthers, NBA players, Northwest Division ballers, Formula One drivers, or Hurricanes throughout history, that being NHL.
Let's go with the NBA.
All right, NBA, all from the Northwest Division. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
11.
Incorrect. Julius Randle, Minnesota Timberwolves.
1.
Incorrect. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
27.
Correct. Chet Holmgren, Oklahoma City Thunder.
13.
Incorrect. Julius Randle, Minnesota Timberwolves.
9.
Incorrect. Scoot Henderson, Portland Trailblazers.
Henderson, 13.
Incorrect. Chet Holmgren, Oklahoma City Thunder. You got Jamal Murray. You avoided the shutout, so congratulations on that one. The others that we were looking for, Julius Randle, 30, Chet, 7, and Scoot, 00. Those were the numbers we were looking for. Stand the line. We'll see if your 1 is enough to get the win. That brings us to Hunter. Hunter, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, all-time Carolina Panthers, Formula One drivers is another category, and then NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Panthers.
NFL Panthers. All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds will be on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. And you do need at least 2 for the victory. Since you have no questions, your time will start when you hear the horn. Chuba Hubbard, Carolina Panthers.
30.
Correct. Jadeveon Clowney, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Say it again.
90.
Incorrect. Kevin Green, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Hayden Hurst, Carolina Panthers.
85.
Incorrect. Jadeveon Clowney, Carolina Panthers.
7.
Correct. Fozzie Whitaker, Carolina Panthers.
43.
Correct. Kevin Green, Carolina Panthers.
52.
Incorrect. Hayden Hurst, Carolina Panthers.
83.
You were in the mix for Hayden Hurst. Still, you got the win, though. You got 3. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chuba Hubbard, 30. Jadeveon Clowney, 7. And Fozzie Whitaker. Your confidence on Fozzie was impressive. Those are the ones you got right. We were looking for Kevin Green, 91. And Hayden Hurst, 81. So you were in the mix on Hayden Hurst. But 3 out of 5 is more than enough for the win. Congratulations. You're going to Range Fest.
Thank you so much.
All right, go ahead and stand the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. How about that, everybody? I was a little worried that we weren't going to have much sizzle there, but then he picked it up a bunch in the Panthers.
Been a minute since I heard the name Fozzie Whitaker.
Fozzie Whitaker, and no hesitation. 43. Like, that one was as impressive as a poll as any. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Listen, mortgage rates, interest rates, are they a massive part of conversation for anybody else? Even if you're not in the market for a home, just you're hanging out with people and everybody wants to talk about them. Miller Lending wants to maybe take it a little bit off your purview, right? A little bit off your plate by offering something called a no-cost loan, so you don't have to stress constantly about when's the right time, what do I do? Do I lock it in now? What if it goes down? Because when you get a no-cost loan, you're not paying all those costs and fees, all those closing costs. It's a no-closing cost loan. So you're not as locked into, I just want to do it once and I never want to do it again. And is it smart to do it twice? Hey, if you refi, you refi. It's no cost, no fees, right? None, no hidden surcharges. They don't roll it up into anything. It gives you the flexibility to know that you can check into it every once in a while. You can talk to your contact at Miller. They want to build a relationship with you, not just a one-time transaction. And then when you're relaxing, you can relax, unlike everybody else who's checking their phone for the interest rates every 2 seconds. Miller Lending. Give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. You can also visit them online. It's easy to remember, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, more college basketball talk here on The Drive.
The Adam Gold Show.
When you look at all the Stanley Cup favorites, Carolina's definitely one of them, and they have almost every element you need. They can score like crazy, and they do it with depth. They do it with speed. They're not just a dump-and-chase forechecking team like they've been in the past. They're as good off the rush as almost anybody in the league. The defense, pretty good since the Olympic break, but it'll get better. Can the goaltending hold up?
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's back. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards April 10th through the 12th. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and priced to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, April 10th through the 12th at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards.
Hi, Greg Talbot with Strategic Tax Resolution. Tax enforcement and defense strategies have changed a lot over the last year. After nearly 5 years, the IRS has restarted automated collections. You could be next for bank levies and wage garnishments. Ignoring the issue is not an option. Call 984-272-2600 to get protected. Do you have unfiled returns or tax debt? We work directly with the IRS and states so you don't have to. Let us use our proven strategies and experience with the IRS and state to resolve your tax issue. Qualified clients have cut their tax debt by more than 90%. How would that feel? Act now to learn the latest updates to tax relief programs. Your eligibility may not be the same. Strategic Tax Resolution. Local, trusted, A+ rated by the BBB. Call 984-272-2600. Ask for me, Greg Talbot. 984-272-2600. You've got a guy on your side. StrategicTaxResolution.com. Get relief.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. Tuesday! The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we talk more college basketball, we will have your chance to see the Storm Surge in person starting Wednesday, this Wednesday. So today is Monday, just for those of us that, the days bleed together a bit. Today is Monday.
Okay.
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
That is true.
Then the next day is Wednesday. Starting on that day, it'll be time to qualify for our 5K Slap Shot Showdown, something we've been doing in different forms and fashions for a few years now. You'll have a shot to win playoff tickets and maybe $5,000. I can't tell you much, but I can tell you you're going to want to be listening. You're going to want to call in. You're going to want to qualify when we tell you to, starting on Wednesday. There'll be a limited amount of qualifiers, and yes, playoff tickets will be on the line, as well as perhaps $5,000. It's the 5K Slapshot Showdown here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm excited for it. You should be as well. Also, I do want to remind you that tonight, coming up in about 15 minutes, we will have Westwood One coverage of the national championship game. UConn, Michigan. It is a pregame coverage that starts at 6. The opening tip scheduled at 8:50 p.m. That's 8:50 p.m. So late night tip. Get your caffeine ready. Take a nap if you need to. Be ready to stay up and watch the national championship game tonight. That is what's going on here on 99.9 The Fan. Now, I want to look back one more time today at the news that Michael Malone has taken over the Carolina Tar Heels. Michael Malone, NBA experience, brings a whole bunch of it, but not a ton of college basketball, particularly recent college basketball, and absolutely no head coach college basketball experience with him to Carolina. I don't think, just to get ahead of a conversation that I know a lot of people are going to have, I don't think this was a true settle, okay? I think this was one where, I don't know how best to describe this. We're all familiar with the term safety school, right? When you're applying for colleges, you might apply for like 3 Ivies and like the local giant state school, right? That way, even if you don't get any, there's somewhere you can go. But what we also don't acknowledge when we have those conversations is that everyone's safety school might be a different level, right? Like if you're a 4.0 valedictorian with a perfect SAT, you probably are applying to like Harvard and everything, and your safety school might be like Virginia, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? But then there's other kids whom their dream school might be Virginia and their safety school is something significantly worse. And then there's other kids who are the big state school might be their dream school and their safety school is like the local JUCO. And there's nothing wrong with any of it, but you just have to, like, everybody follows their own path. I'm not knocking any of it, but you have to be like self-aware enough to know what your safety school is. I think there's a world where Michael Malone was kind of Carolina's safety school, but they also acknowledge that they are like on a 4.0 scale. They have like a 5.2 GPA and they have a perfect SAT score and they're loaded with extracurriculars, right? Michael Malone wasn't actively coaching, right? So it's not like he was going anywhere. You didn't have to wait for him. You knew he would be there for the conversation when you wanted to have it. And he's what appears to be a really good basketball coach. Right? Scheme, everything, professional, all of it. He's got an NBA championship. Now, I do think they swung for the fences a few different ways, right? I do think they went after Tommy Lloyd. I do think they would have called Dusty May. There's some talk about a few other coaches that may have been reached out to, and some of those were pretty ambitious. And yeah, I don't think Michael Malone is as ambitious as some of those, but that doesn't mean he's like, the equivalent of the super low, accepts everybody, fallback school. They may have been the safety school for Carolina. They may have been the fallback option, but that's just because they were shooting for the stars. I don't think this one is a complete like, oh, they settled. I don't think it's that at all. Now, what they have to hope, and this is really, it's not the hot take that sports radio wants. It's not the hot take that social media wants. But to me, the success or grade the hire, which I made Dennis do, which is very sports radio. To me, it's like, well, it could be a really good hire if you get the right people with the right resume to be his assistants in his front office. And it could be a really bad hire if you get a lot of redundancy and people with similar qualifications to be his assistants and his head coach. If he has the same coaches that he had on the bench in Denver, or if he has, guys that he made friends with when he was in the NBA that haven't coached in college come be his assistant coaches, I don't think it's going to go well. Then I would give it a low grade. But if he loads it up with college basketball experience, so he has people tapping him on the shoulder when he's looking like a fool and saying, that's not how it happens here. That's NBA. That's not how it happens here. Then it could be a really, really good hire. So it's contingent. It's contingent on him. He's not a choice in a vacuum is kind of what I'm getting at. I do think there are coaches that I would have been more excited about regardless of who their assistants are. But if you hire the right assistants, you can make up that ground quickly. Make up that ground very quickly. Seems to be that, if I had to build, we'll do this real quickly here in our last couple of minutes. If I had to build like a 3-person assistant coaching, and I'm not going to say names, I'm going to say descriptions, 3 assistant coaches to go with Mike Malone. I want somebody with ties to Carolina, right? Former player, longtime assistant, I don't care. Somebody that fans would say bleeds Carolina blue. That's 1. Number 2 would be somebody that has a proven track record of recruiting, right? Somebody at a Power 5 conference school, Power 4, whatever you want to call it, major conference school, we'll go with that, at a major conference school that has multiple 5-stars that they were the main recruiter of. Obviously, head coaches always get the love, but if you're an assistant coach out there and you get the always a really good recruiter tag, Carolina should spend what they need to go get him. And then the third one would be just a lifer of college basketball. You don't even have to have ever been a head coach. I just need you to, you count your college experience in decades. Oh, yeah, I was in the ACC for, a decade and a half. Prior to that, I spent a long time in the A-10. I was in the Big East before a decade. That's just a old, grizzled college basketball lifer. And if you get those 3 and you put them around Michael Malone, and Michael Malone gets to be I'll show you how to get to the NBA. I know what they're looking for. Here's what I used to teach LeBron during his first all-pro season when I was his assistant. Here's what I used to teach Steph Curry during his 2nd and 3rd year in the NBA. Here's what I used to teach Chris Paul when I was his assistant coach with the Hornets. Here's how I took Nikola Jokic from 2nd-round pick to top 5 center of all time. If he gets to be that, and the other guys get to fill the roles that I described, I like the hire. If they do what Bill Belichick did in football and act like it's a huge flex to just maximize the total number of NBA seasons of coaching experience.
33rd
NFL
team. Yeah. 31st NBA team.
If they go fully too hard down that path, then you're not diversified enough. Your portfolio is all your eggs are in one basket. And if a recruit just isn't impressed by NBA experience, then you have no let me offer you this. Right? If a recruit or a transfer is interested in NBA experience, boom, Michael Malone, here you go. But if he's actually, I grew up a giant Carolina fan. Boom, here's the assistant with Carolina blood. Well, actually, I would love to know about the academics. Boom, here's the lifer that's been recruiting in college forever. Right? You have to have a little bit of everything. You can't be too of the same. That's what I need from Michael Malone. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, national championship coverage starts in literal moments here on 99.9 The Fan. Opening tip at 8:50. We'll have after a night to sleep on it, more reactions to Michael Malone. And we're in the NHL playoff push tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken.